Part 81. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 802. When Mother Wei heard Lily asking her to think of a solution, she suddenly became anxious. She had lived a very calm life all her life, no matter when she was living alone with her daughter and owed a large debt. When she remarried a man later, she never worried about the trivial matters of life. She would not worry about money. She was always optimistic and believed that there would be a bright future and there would be a bright future. It was like when she was in debt, and when she was desperate, even if she was forced to move, she could still find a place to live under the bridge. When she was in debt, she would meet Father Wei to pay off the debt for her and marry her. My wife, when she was pregnant and gave birth, her daughter, who was just 8 years old, knelt down and begged others to lend her money to give birth to the child. It was as if someone else would always solve the problem. She was very optimistic. There must be a road before the car reaches the mountain, and the sky will fall. There will always be a tall person holding you up when you get down. In the past, when she was in trouble and had no money, Wei Lily would always find a way to solve it for her. This time, she knew that she was in trouble, and she also understood that Lily might be angry with her, but Wei's mother did not expect that Lily would be like this. Angry, she was a little at a loss for a moment. When she saw Lily looking like she didn't want to take care of Wei Rui, Wei's mother immediately panicked, stretched out her hand to hold Lily. Her eyes were filled with panic. But, this is your brother. If there is no money now, the doctor said he will be hospitalized for observation. Wei's mother became a little incoherent when she heard that he didn't care. Lily smiled and suppressed the instinct in her heart. Feeling anxious, he pretended to be calm. Mom, you also know that he is just my brother, not my son. This should be your responsibility. Besides, I have already transferred 100,000 to his account. You should ask for the money back. If you don't want it back, I can help you call the police together. How about calling the police? Mother Wei called the police when she heard it. My heart went cold, and I covered my face with my hands and started crying. If we call the police, what should those people who come to ask for alms do? What's more, can we think of another way? Ask Ming Chu to borrow some. I'll take it easy in the future. I saved the money slowly and gave it back to him. What do you want to give back? I wish I could just be a volunteer and help others without even knowing how to get paid. Now I have the nerve to say saving money, but Mother Wei has never been able to save money. Lily sneered. He said, Zhu Mingchu is a businessman. I want to divorce him. You can borrow money from him, but if you don't come out yet, can he let you go? Ming Chun shouldn't be so cruel, right? Mother Wei thought Lily was trying to scare her, and she even couldn't help but burst into laughter. There are many good people in the world. Lily was too lazy to talk to people like Mother Wei anymore. Her thoughts were already ingrained in her mind, and Lily didn't want to waste her words. As you said, there are many good people when there are many good people. It's your business to ask Zhu Mingchu to borrow money, but you have to get the 100,000 back first. I paid the 100,000 into Wei Rui's account. This money, the original owner, belongs to me, and I put the money into his card to treat his illness and save his life. If you use my money privately, Mom, don't force me to call the police. When the original owner put the money into Wei Rui's account, he also wanted to leave all the little private money he had before marriage to his younger brother, so that Zhu Mingchu would not treat her badly in the future when he knew that he was rich but did not buy a dowry. There was quite a bit of criticism, but she considered everything, but she didn't expect that Wei's mother would even touch the money in Wei Rui's name. In the past, Wei's mother only used a small amount of money to help others. My life is very tight. She didn't have the chance to move a large sum of money. Wei Lily had said and scolded her that there was nothing she could do, and Wei's mother would admit her mistake every time. but he refused to change his ways despite repeated admonitions and used such a large amount of money. Moreover, it was the first time to donate to others. Wei Bei originally thought that Wei's mother would be measured, but she didn't expect that she had no control at all. This situation also happened in the plot, but it probably happened more than a year after Wei Bei and Zhu Mingchu got married. She couldn't bear it and had a quarrel with Zhu Yuanyuan, and then left the Zhu family. Wei's mother got into trouble again. Rui was sick and hospitalized and had no money. By some mistake, it wasn't that time yet, but the events in the plot happened in advance. The original Wei Lily didn't even know that Wei's mother had donated the money. Maybe it happened more than a year later. At that time, Wei's mother said she had no money. The original owner might have thought that the money was used for herself. Brother, so there was no investigation. It's just that things happened a year in advance. Wei's mother's donation was out of control and was exposed. This time Lily will not call Zhu Mingchui to borrow money like the original owner did. She will just be cold. Leng stared at Mother Wei, making her panic, then opened the door and returned to the ward. Mother Wei covered her face and cried outside. At first, she could still hear the crying, but gradually it stopped. The sound of footsteps started to sound. Mother Wei should have left outside. Lily ignored her. Anyway, Wei Rui's mother had to find a way to pay for Wei Rui's hospitalization this time. The high fever that Wei Rui had just subsided returned again. This time, his body was still shockingly hot. Wei's mother was outside beating him. She called the phone and wanted to borrow money. At first, she really didn't want to ask anyone in the temple to return the money, because the monks who asked for alms said it was to help people. She borrowed the phone and called the neighbors next door. Those who asked her for help in the past when her neighbors heard that she wanted to borrow money, they all made excuses to hang up the phone. None of the people who had been helped by her were willing to help her at the critical moment. Wei's mother was disappointed and desperate. People at the hospital urged her several times to ask her to go through the hospitalization procedures for Wei Rui. These matters were handled by Wei Bei before. The first time it happened to her, Mother Wei was so distracted that she couldn't help but want to cry again. Mother Wei hadn't come back until Lily's cell phone rang. It was almost 9 o'clock in the evening. The call was from Zhu Mingchui. The first thing he said when he opened his mouth was, "Wei Rui is sick and in hospital, why didn't you tell me?" Lily didn't tell him about this, so how he knew it was naturally self-evident. Lily told Mother Wei not to borrow money from Zhu Mingchui, but it seemed that she still didn't listen to her in the end. Lily sighed, a cold light flashed in her eyes. "He is my brother, and it is my business to be hospitalized. Why should I tell you? Okay, don't be angry. I know it was my fault for not accompanying you yesterday. I transferred 100,000 yuan to your mother's card. Be good, I will come over to see Xiaoyui tomorrow. Marry me, he is also my brother." When Lily heard Zhu Mingchui's words, an unknown fire surged up in her heart. In the plot, Wei's mother must have asked Zhu Mingchui to borrow money, otherwise Zhu Mingchui would not have been able to trick Wei's mother in the end. It might be that easy, but the original owner didn't know anything about these things. It can be seen that Wei's mother didn't know how much money she wanted from Zhu Mingchui behind her back. No wonder Zhu Yuanyuan has always looked down on Wei Lily, thinking that she married Zhu Mingchuan for nothing. It was his money. After they got married, Zhu's father and Zhu's mother disliked Wei Bei everywhere. "I won't ask for your money. If you insist on transferring it, if anyone asks you for the money, you can just ask her for it. It has nothing to do with me." After she finished speaking, Zhu Mingchu turned over the phone directly without waiting for Zhu Mingchu to speak. "Hang up." At this moment, Mother Wei pushed the door open and came in with a red nose. She could not hide the joy on her face. When she saw Lily, she felt a little guilty in her eyes. "I have the money, and I have completed the hospitalization procedures. Lily stared at her coldly. Mother Wei was a little uneasy by her look and asked in a low voice. What's wrong? Is Zhu Mingchuo's money so easy to get? After you took it, have you ever thought about what the Zhu family would think of me? Lily blurted out these words, and an inexplicable sadness surged up in her heart. This was a feeling that belonged to the original owner. Wei Lily always thought that the failure of her marriage was related to Zhu Yuanyuan and Zhu Mingchu's preference for his sister. But now it seems that it may actually be related to her mother. Lily suppressed the resentment and pain in her heart. When Mother Wei heard what she said, she burst into tears. I can't help it. Xiaoyue needs money. Just this once, I won't ask Ming Chen for it in the future. Don't be angry with your mother. Mother Wei didn't expect Lily to know about her borrowing money from Zhu Mingchui. She didn't want to tell her at first, but she didn't expect Lily to know about it first. She felt a little panicked, and seeing Lily's cold look, she also felt a little aggrieved. When she got up, she really couldn't borrow money, so she asked Zhu Mingchu to save her son's life. She liked Wei Rui as much as Wei Bei did, but she didn't expect that she would ignore Wei Rui this time and lend money to Wei Ruizi herself. She was not happy about being sick either. Seeing Mother Wei's appearance, Lily didn't want to pay attention to her anymore. After the hospital got the money, Wei Rui's condition gradually stabilized. His fever was too high. If he were a normal person, his brain would probably be affected from now on. But Wei Rui is not a normal person. He has intellectual disability. Therefore, for others, the most serious consequences of high fever are no different to him. However, after this time, his body became weaker and weaker, and sometimes his voice was as loud as a kitten when he cried. Lily stayed in the hospital for several days. She had lost a lot of weight, and after instructing 3 caregivers to take good care of Wei Rui, she returned to her rental house. Lily was really tired these days. When she returned to her place, she only changed the sheets briefly and then slept for a whole day. After resting, she immediately reported the case to the police station. On that day, Wei Bei transferred 100,000 to Wei Rui's account. Although because of Wei Rui's inability to take care of himself, Wei's mother had custody of him, so she could easily transfer the account in his name. In the past, Wei Bei thinking that Wei's mother is Wei Rui's biological mother, she is not an unloving person, so she has always trusted Wei's mother to take care of Wei Rui, but in fact, in Lily's view, Wei's mother is obviously not suitable to take care of anyone, saying it's even worse to hear that she can't even take care of herself. She needs to be supported by others all her life. She is wrapped around others like a vine. She is not suitable to take care of Wei Rui. Therefore, Lily can only sue the monk who defrauded Wei's mother of donations. In addition to defrauding money, she also made a request to the court to transfer Wei Rui's custody rights from Wei's mother to her own name. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan ERWR. Chapter 803. A lawsuit like this is not a complicated case. It is just a transfer of custody. Lily has prepared all the materials. Wei's mother has no financial resources and has been relying on Wei Lily for support. If she were not Wei Rui's biological mother, in fact, he may not get custody at all. After considering how to be more beneficial to Wei Rui, the court is very likely to award Wei Rui to Lily. Mother Wei has been in a state of distress recently. Several monks from a nearby temple initially thought they had made a fortune after receiving 100,000 yuan in donations, so they renovated the temple lavishly. Unexpectedly, a few days later, the police came to the door and demanded that after investigation, it was found that the money was indeed donated by Mother Wei, and there were transfer records. These monks could not afford to rely on it, but the key point was that they insisted that the money was given to them voluntarily by Mother Wei and was not used by them. They got it through secret and abduction. These people had never thought that Mother Wei would be so easy to talk to and donate 100,000 in one donation. They thought that only donating a few hundred or even thousands would be a big deal, but they didn't expect Mother Wei to be so generous. When they first received it, these people were ecstatic and a little uneasy. However, after a few days, they saw that there was no movement from Mother Wei, and they gradually became more courageous. They took the money and took a rest outside the temple. Now the money it had been spent, and there was no way to get it back. The most important thing was that Mother Wei couldn't bear to put these monks in jail, so when the police came to ask for a confession, she admitted the fact that she took the initiative to donate the money to these monks. The case reached this point. One is willing to be beaten and the other is willing to suffer. The police just want to stand up for Wei Mu, but she herself is helping the monk, and the police have nothing to do, and finally call Lily. He said it was a household matter and asked her to solve it by herself and take good care of her property in the future, so the matter was settled. But these monks were not grateful to Mother Wei after taking the money. On the contrary, Lily called the police and asked them to accept the investigation, which gave them a false alarm. After the case was over, these people were not popular anymore. When she came to the door, Mother Wei was scolded. Lily went home to see Wei Rui. When her neighbor next door told her that some fierce monks came to her house a few days ago and almost beat Wei Rui's mother, she was speechless. Mother Wei also hid it from these people, fearing that Lily would trouble others again, and she even complained that Lily shouldn't have made this matter such a big deal. It's not easy for a monk to beg for food. What can you do if you force them like this? Just spend the money and earn it later. You have gone too far. The crisis of Wei Rui's high fever last time, as soon as she got through it, Mother Wei's scar was healed and she forgot about the pain. At this moment, she actually said that you can make money after you spend the money. Lily sneered, "You can make money after you spend the money. What do you use to earn it? After Xiao Rui is discharged from the hospital, you earned a penny? You spent all the 100,000 that Zhu Mingchu gave you. What did you spend on it?" Because she was preparing to divorce Zhu Mingchu, Lily had not been to Zhu's company these days. Instead, I thought about it and prepared to take out a loan to open a beauty center like the original owner in the plot. Although the original Wei Bei was miserably cheated by Wei's mother, she was not a fool in business. On the contrary, she was quite talented. The beauty salon she finally opened was very successful. In fact, it didn't matter how much money Lily had, but since Wei Bei Ruize needs a lot of money to feed him and treat his illness, so Lily can only put some thought into it. She has already submitted the loan application information to the bank. The approval has not come out in the past 2 days. But with the connections of the Zhu family, it is almost impossible to refuse. The original owner had been with Zhu Mingchu for so many years, and was so angry with his sister that Lily decided to divorce him without taking any of the Zhu family's property. At most, she can just use the Zhu family's momentum to push herself, and Lily has a clear conscience. In the room, Wei Rui was wearing an apron. A nurse was feeding him medicine with a bowl in his hands. He was fussy and refused to open his mouth, crying softly. When he saw Lily coming back, his eyes suddenly lit up. "Sister." He spoke with some difficulty, and it was obvious that he had a big tongue. When Lily sat over, she took the medicine from the nurse's hand. When she fed him again, although he didn't want to take it, he still opened his mouth obediently. "Xiao Rui only wants to kiss you, Miss Wei. I have been feeding this bowl of medicine for half an hour and I haven't finished drinking it yet. Most of Wei Rui's medicines are bitter. He is like a child and cannot swallow a whole pill." They crushed the medicine into powder and mixed it with water to feed him. Sometimes he couldn't feed it anymore and had to force-fed it. The nurse was planning to force-fed him, but he didn't expect Lily to come back. Lily didn't say anything when she heard this. Mother Wei followed Lily into the house. The 3-bedroom apartment rented by Lily was full of things. Mother Wei Rui and their son, plus 3 caregivers, lived there. It was crowded, and Mother Wei would always take homeless people home when she saw them, so the room became even more crowded, and the smell of moldy things filled the air year after year. What on earth do you want to do? Ming Chu is such a good person, why are you divorcing him? Marriage is a major matter, it is not a trivial matter. Mother Wei thought of Lily saying that she had just spent the 100,000 yuan given by Zhu Mingchu and she had no money to spend it. Then, I thought about my daughter who disliked her for not making money, and felt a little uncomfortable, but I couldn't say anything to refute. Thinking that she was going to get a divorce, I couldn't help but give her a lesson. Lily didn't want to hear her talk, so she interrupted her. I know my own affairs well, you'd better mind yourself. Mother Wei's expression became serious after being told that, and her eyes were a little red. She turned her back and started wiping the corners of her eyes with her hands. Lily didn't even look back. I applied to the court for custody of Wei Rui. He is not young anymore, and it is difficult to take care of him. I contacted a nursing home. From now on, I will pay money to the nursing home every month, and you don't need to worry about other things. In the past, almost 3 caregivers came to take care of Wei Rui. Wei's mother didn't have much time to take care of her son. In fact, she had never paid much attention to Wei Rui's affairs. Now, does she have the custody rights? She didn't care. When Lily said this, she nodded. But when she heard Lily said that she wanted to send herself to a nursing home, Mother Wei hesitated again. I'm still young now. I don't need to go to a nursing home. I live in the nursing home here, sometimes I help people look after their children and do other things for others, and the day goes by very quickly. Before she finished speaking, Lily glanced at her, causing Mother Wei to shrink her shoulders. It was because Mother Wei almost lost her own child when she went to babysit for someone else, but now she still has the nerve to mention it again. Lily planned not to take care of Mother Wei, but to hang her up high. If she went into a nursing home in the future and would not cause trouble to herself, she would pay her a fee every month, visit her occasionally, and fulfill her obligations to the original owner. Forget it, the rest of the time she is willing to help others and do good deeds is her business. From now on, everyone will stay far away from each other and everything will be fine. This is the most prudent method she has considered so far. Bei has already contacted the nursing center, and is just waiting to get Wei Rui's custody and send Wei's mother there directly, but she has never thought about it. Mother Wei could naturally tell that she had to give her room to refuse, so she didn't dare to speak out. Half a month later, the bank loan was approved, and Lily directly rented the place where the original owner opened the beauty salon in the plot. Lily had done these things once, and now Lily is just copying the same. It is convenient to do, but within 3 months, the beauty salon was opened, and a few days later, Lily sent Mother Wei directly to the nursing home. When she left, she was still reluctant to leave. She sighed when she packed her things, looking like she didn't want to leave. Lily ignored her. Many things in the house were picked up by Mother Wei, and some of the rags were left by people who had taken them in before. Lily directly called people from the cleaning company to come over and clean them all ready to throw them out. When throwing out a few broken bowls, Mother Wei, who was packing her luggage, hurriedly stopped the people from the cleaning company. These are the things left by the first few children. Don't throw them away. Keep them. Some of the bowl mouths were chipped, but Mother Wei put them away as if they were treasures. When the people from the cleaning company heard this after glancing at Lily, Lily ignored Mother Wei and directly signaled people to throw these things out. With tears in her eyes, Mother Wei pulled up a stool and sat down. I thought, I went to a nursing home and no one lives in this house anymore. Why don't I stay here and turn it into a shelter for people in need? After she finished speaking, she wiped her tears and said, after living here for so long I am really reluctant to leave. Many children have lived here before. If they want to come back to see me one day, or if they encounter any problems and want to ask me for help, if the house is gone, they want to contact me. I can't even do that. Now Mother Wei herself is a mud bodhisattva who cannot save herself when crossing the river. She is still thinking about helping others. Lily wanted to laugh when she heard this, and turned to look at her. The monthly rent here is 2,800 yuan. You can keep it if you want. Who will pay for you? If you want to do good things, you don't even think about whether you have the ability. Wei's mother doesn't even have the ability to support herself, but she still wants to help others. The house here is not far from the city center, and Lily rents a 3-bedroom apartment. The monthly rent is high, and Wei's mother wants to turn this place into some kind of shelter. Lily is not Wei's real daughter, and she has no intention of pampering her. She silenced Wei's mother with just one sentence. Speechless, she packed a bunch of things, and the nursing home car soon stopped downstairs. Mother Wei was sent away. She was crying when she left, as if she was reluctant to leave her children. But Lily believed that in less than half a day, as long as there was someone in the nursing home who needed her help, she might soon start to smile. The beauty salon business also began to slowly become profitable. Because Lily needed to be alone, so after having enough money, she rented a separate house for Wei Duan next door to her own house. This way, it was convenient for her to see her brother, and she is also comfortable practicing martial arts at home. If something happens to Wei Rui, she can find it out in time. When she came out of the beauty salon in the afternoon, Zhu Mingche called her and asked her to have dinner. Although they decided to divorce, because Zhu Mingche didn't agree, the divorce has been postponed until now. Lily is going to drag him for 2 years. By then, even if Zhu Mingche disagrees, there will be nothing he can do. To be continued. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 804. When Lily and Zhu Mingche were together in the past, they rarely had time to eat alone. Either Zhu Yuanyuan would call during the meal, or she would also appear with Zhu Mingche. After Lily entered the task, she would ask Zhu Mingche after filing for divorce. He spent more time dating Lily. Lily would occasionally reject him, but would agree if he had time. This aroused Zhu Mingche's interest and made him feel like he had just returned to the time when he met Wei. Lily's enthusiasm was average and she would call her from time to time. The two have not yet gone through the divorce procedures, but in Lily's heart, she does not want to see Zhu Mingche again. When he called to make an appointment for dinner, Lily originally wanted to refuse, but the nurse called her before she left the beauty salon today, saying that Wei Rui refused to eat and wanted to see her, but she had no time to meet Zhu Mingche. Unexpectedly, Zhu Mingche said on the phone that he had something to discuss with her. After saying that she had something to do, Lily thought for a moment and called home to coax her for a while before Wei Rui agreed. She asked about the location and refused Zhu Mingche's request to drive over to pick her up. She drove there herself. Zhu Mingche made an appointment at a French restaurant where the two of them often dated before. He had already reserved a seat there, and the champagne had been frozen. When he saw Lily coming in, he waved to her. There were not many people dining in the restaurant at the moment. The waiter at the elegantly decorated table came to pull out Lily's chair and prepared the dishes according to Zhu Mingche's request. "It's not easy to see you now." Zhu Mingche gave Lily a complicated look. He felt that Lily was annoyed by the quarrel with Zhu Yuanyuan, so he asked Lily to leave the Zhu family first. He originally thought that he would let her stay. "I'm going to live outside for 10 days and a half. He first comforted Zhu Yuanyuan and then took Lily back. Unexpectedly, it was easy to ask someone to move out at first, but now it is difficult to get her to come back. I don't know if it's because I lost something that I thought must belong to me. It's hard for Zhu Mingchu to explain his feelings clearly now. He doesn't know whether it's reluctance or unwillingness to let go, but he only knows that he doesn't want to let go. Lily listened to what he said and smiled. What's not easy? Why don't I come now? You said you have something to tell me, what is it? Although there was a smile on her face, her eyes were filled with tears. There was no emotion at all, and his delicate face looked cold and distant. Zhu Mingchu smiled bitterly and reached out to hold her hand. If I say, let's start over, you move back. I will definitely do it in the future. I won't go out in the middle of the night again, do you believe me? Yuan took that BMW and drove it. I'll buy another one for you. She won't be allowed to argue with you in the future. I also taught her a lesson and she won't run out again at night. You believe me, Lily, let's start over. Zhu Mingchu lowered his attitude. I may not have cared enough about you before, but I will pay attention to this in the future. I will take care of your mother and your brother. Give me another chance. He would not mention Mother Wei for no reason. When Lily heard the first few words he said, she smiled and remained silent until she heard the next few words. A bad premonition came over me. What did my mother do again? Zhu Mingqi said a lot unexpectedly. She found the key point right away, and couldn't help being stunned. His outstretched hand fell into the air because Lily picked up the water glass and avoided it. At this moment, his hand was clenched into a fist. He took it back, propped up his chin and laughed. If I say so, will you promise to give me another chance? Lily didn't speak, and the smile on her face turned cold. Seeing her like this, Zhu Mingchu sighed. You sent her to a nursing home. It's not surprising that Zhu Mingchu knew this. If you want to find out, there are many ways to find out, not to mention that it is not a military secret that Lily sent Mother Wei to a nursing home, but Zhu Mingchu will never be idle every day to find out the whereabouts of Mother Wei. He knows this thing seemed a little weird. She bought the nursing home and planned to renovate it. She contacted me. The total budget is 17 million. The location there is very expensive, not to mention that it is not cheap to invest in the most advanced medical nursing facilities. We need to expand the venue to accommodate more elderly people, and the price will only be less, not more. Zhu Mingqi smiled gently at this moment. He reached out and wrote a number of 1,700 on the table, and stared at Lily with gentle eyes. Look, I have lent her 5 million, Ziahe, if you are willing to come back to me, we are husband and wife, and your mother will naturally be my mother. The money she borrowed will be regarded as my filial piety as a junior, but if you don't want to come back to me, what does your mother have to do with me? After he finished speaking, he fell back on the chair and looked a little lazy. You also know that you are in business. I heard that you are also doing business now, and the business is not bad. You should know. Zhu Mingchuo's eyes showed a sure win, and he spread his hands on the table. Looking at Lily, his pupils shrank for a moment, and he couldn't help but smile happily. At this moment, Lily wanted to tear Mother Wei alive. She cursed Mother Wei a few times in her heart, and Zhu Mingchuo said again. Now I have also inquired about your beauty club. You have just started to get started. You have not repaid the money you owe to the bank. If we divorce at this time, the bank may demand payment from you. Although you have filed a lawsuit with the court for the custody of your brother. She has filed an appeal, but this kind of litigation process takes a certain amount of time. She is still your brother's nominal guardian. She will definitely not be able to handle this loan by herself, because she is not young after all, so she is the signatures signed in the name of your family. The money you owe now is what your brother owes. If you want to treat your brother and support him, if there is money that needs to be moved in his name, then if your mother owes money, the court will directly freeze his various accounts. This is very inconvenient for him, and your mother may go to jail. A person like her will not survive a year in prison. You can't. Do you want to watch her die? According to the regulations of China in this plot, if Wei Rui owes money, he will be in great trouble whether he is hospitalized or otherwise. He will be like a gangster. Some drugs that are supposed to be protected by the country and specially adjusted for special patients will have their prices adjusted. At that time, due to certain restrictions, the price may increase to more than 10 times. Lily wanted to scold her mother at this moment. It was impossible for Mother Wei to know how to sign by herself. If it wasn't for Zhu Mingchu's reason, she would have written her name upside down. But then again, Zhu Mingchui had set a trap for Wei's mother, but if Wei's mother didn't want to buy a nursing home, she couldn't have fallen into Zhu Mingchu's trap. Lily's face was livid. Originally, she wanted to give Wei's mother a trap. Wei's mother took a chance and sent her to a nursing home to let her live her life. However, she didn't expect that Wei's mother would not change her ways and ended up causing such a big trouble. What's more important is that Lily had only just a few days ago. When he went to the nursing home to visit her, she didn't reveal any clues. Killing intent flashed through Lily's heart, and her hands slowly clenched. I just want to ask for a chance for us to start over as husband and wife. Money is just an external possession. As passionate as your mother is. When Zhu Mingchu said this, there was a bit of distress on his face, as if he didn't know what to do. How to describe Wei's mother-in-law? It took me a long time to come up with an adjective. As your mother is keen on charity, without a large amount of funds, it is impossible to support her, and people's personalities are generally easy to change. It's hard to change. You also know that she can't change. The only thing we can do is that we change to adapt to her. Mother Wei's character cannot be changed. If she could, she would have changed it more than 20 years ago. She even wants to set up a nursing home to take in people free of charge. She wants to take in the helpless and poor old people in the world so that they can have food to eat and clothing to wear. After Zhu Mingchui finished speaking, he couldn't help but the corner of her mouth curled up. It's a beautiful idea, but it seems unrealistic. In fact, Mother Wei told him much more than that. After discovering that Zhu Mingchui's money was particularly easy to get, Mother Wei regarded Zhu Mingchui as he became his best friend and even told him that he not only wanted to make the poor people in the world no longer pitiful, but also had the idea of getting rid of some small animals. If it weren't for Lily, Zhu Mingchui wouldn't want to waste any time on Wei Mu. After spending 5 million to send her away, Wei Mu repeatedly told him not to tell Lily first, and Zhu Mingchui was indeed waiting for her. Lily informed her only after she had spent the 5 million flowers. After hearing what Zhu Mingchu said, Lily had already suppressed the anger in her heart. At this moment, she had no patience with Mother Wei at all, especially after Mother Wei was so restless after entering the nursing home. She stood up. Come. I still have something to do, so I'll leave first. Wait a while, after dinner, I'll take you back. Zhu Mingchuo stretched out his hand to pull Lily, but Lily avoided it. No, you can do whatever you want with this matter. I'll give you life or death. Don't look at my face. If she wants to go to jail, this is the price she must pay. I am really powerless and can't care so much. After she finished speaking, before Zhu Mingchu could speak again, she nodded to him and strode out of the main entrance of the restaurant. Lily originally wanted to call Mother Wei first, but she was a little angry when she thought about it. She couldn't help but get angry when she met a person like Mother Wei. In the plot, the original owner didn't know how angry he should be when he met her. She drove to the nursing home. Because she did not stay in the restaurant to eat, when she arrived at the nursing home, it was still early. Lily had noticed something was wrong with this place when she arrived some time ago. The nursing home was built halfway up a mountain. It was originally a private building. The air around the contracted area was very good, but development had begun in the mountains more than a month ago. At that time, He only thought that a developer had bought this area. Unexpectedly, the person who bought this area actually its Mother Wei. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 805. The temperature in the mountains is lower than on the ground. Under the setting sun, several old people were moving chairs and sitting in the courtyard to bask in the sun. Several nurses were sitting lazily in the corridor, and Mother Wei with her hair tied up was sitting there. In front of a table, there was a pen in his hand, and he was writing something down. Someone was tired from the sun, so he shouted directly, "Xiu Hui, you are a little cold, bring me some clothes." When Mother Wei heard this, a smile appeared on her face. She hurriedly responded, and stood up. Several nurses sat motionless. Lily saw the scene in the car, and her heart was filled with unknown anger. She stretched out her hand. After honking the horn, the car beeped, waking up a few people inside. The security guard who was dozing at the door quickly shook the barrier. Lily drove the car in. Mother Wei looked at when Lily came over. She was a little surprised. "I just came 2 days ago, why are you here again?" "I don't want to come over either, but I paid to send you over here to wait on others." "I don't know when you started to wait on others," Lily asked Mother Wei with a cold face, who had just ordered Mother Wei to get clothes. When the old man heard this, he looked a little embarrassed and quickly turned his head away. Then several nurses came out in a hurry. Mother Wei wrung her hands and said, "It's just small things. We can help each other as much as we can. If you care about it like this, who will help you when you have difficulties in the future?" When she lectured others, she was soft and unconvincing. Lily got out of the car and said, "My problem is you. You have done so many good things. Who helped you when you were in trouble? You were pregnant with Xiao Rui was helping people everywhere. When you gave birth, you went to the hospital and had no money. Did the people you helped help you because of this? When you were dying in the hospital, it wasn't the people you helped asking for money for you. It was your daughter who was kneeling on the ground begging the doctor to perform the operation on you. If you hadn't been a good person, Xiao Rui wouldn't have been born like this. If you hadn't been a good person in the first place, Dad wouldn't have done it because of Xiao Rui. Rui died of his illness while earning money, and even his compensation money was spent completely. Have you ever thought that you are still a person with children? Your son is waiting for money to see a doctor?" These words have been accumulating in Wei Beihe's heart for a long time. She has been angry with Wei's mother countless times before, but she has never said such serious words. Now Wei's mother has become more and more aggressive, spending tens of thousands of money from the beginning. Later it reached 100,000, or even now 5 million or tens of millions. She dared to speak to Zhu Mingchuo. Today's matter seems to have touched some knots in the original owner's heart. No matter how patient she was at this moment, Lily was still a little angry when she spoke. Mother Wei didn't expect that she would be so angry. She was stunned and her eye circles were a little red. She glanced at Lily a little at a loss, bit her lip, and looked around anxiously. "I just said something to you. If you don't like to hear it, I'll just stop saying it in the future. Why are you so angry?" Until now, she still thought that Lily was just angry because she just said that she would have no friends in the future, and did not take Zhu Mingchu's matter to heart at all. Lily resisted the urge to drag Mother Wei to the corner and beat her up. Looking at her coldly. "What happened to Zhu Mingchuo's money? What's going on?" When Mother Wei heard Lily's question, she was obviously a little panicked. She stammered and asked, and her eyes began to tremble with nervousness. A pair of hands rubbed his body several times. He swallowed several mouthfuls of saliva. "Don't pretend to be stupid. He came to me today. You borrowed 5 million from him. You are really capable. You want to open a nursing home for free. Now he asks you to pay back the money. I think this you have bought the place, right? What do you want to give back?" Lily asked Mother Wei. People around heard the dispute between the two mother and daughter and were afraid of being affected. They all hid far away. Several old people, and when the nurse heard this, she was afraid that Lily would blame them, And how dare she come over to persuade her to make peace? When Mother Wei bought this place, everyone encouraged her. After Mother Wei came for a few days, everyone found out about her. Due to her character, the nurses and doctors are eager for her to make this place bigger. Based on Wei Mu's good-natured but weak character, maybe her salary will be increased and everyone's treatment will be improved. As for the elderly, it is even more beneficial. They can save their money and live here with good food and use without spending any money. The extra money can be saved and left to their children and grandchildren in the future, or for additional expenses. Life will be better than now. I originally thought that Mother Wei could accomplish this. Everyone was looking forward to that day. Unexpectedly, Lily came up the mountain today. Everyone looked at each other, although they wanted to hear more. He was gossiping, but he was afraid of getting into trouble. The old man who couldn't walk just now and asked his mother to add some clothes to him now moved his chair back to his room. Several nurses who had been sitting still seemed to be busy. It didn't take long for Wei Mu and Lily to be the only two people left in the yard, and everyone else hid completely. Ming Chu promised me not to tell you. Why doesn't he keep his word? Wei's mother didn't want to admit it at first, but when she heard that he even told her 5 million, she also confessed her own. If you want to open a nursing home free of charge, you know you can't deny it. She didn't want Lily to know at first, but she knew that she would definitely object based on her personality. But now that the land has been bought and construction has started, Mother Wei felt that Lily shouldn't be able to object even if she wanted to. Her original idea was simple. I think that instead of keeping it secret, it's better to tell her daughter directly now. Maybe after Lily discovers that this is a good thing that benefits the country and the people, she can be more supportive. However, Mother Wei couldn't help complaining about Zhu Mingchu's behavior of telling Lily about it after he promised her to keep it a secret, and then she smiled flatteringly. This is a good thing. I originally want to give you a surprise. After she finished speaking, she told Lily all about her ideals and things she wanted to pursue, including first adopting the orphans in the world, and then setting up a shelter for stray cats and dogs, etc. These words Zhu Mingqiu was impatient to listen, and Lily naturally didn't want to listen anymore. She nodded. Your idea is very good. Do you think so, too? Mother Wei originally thought Lily would scold her. Just like Lily Wei before, she would always try her best to help her after scolding her. She was already prepared to be scolded by Lily. As long as she was scolded by Lily, it would have been difficult for her to do such a thing by herself. However, it would be much easier for the two mothers and daughters to do it together just for being scolded. Mother Wei did not expect that Lily would not do it. Instead of scolding her, he praised her instead. Her eyes suddenly lit up. It could be vaguely seen that she was no longer young, but she still had the innocence and dreaminess of a girl in her eyes, which had just been washed away by tears. After passing the eyes, it was as clear and clean as the sky after the rain. That's good. Ming Chu said that you also opened a store. I still don't have enough money now. He said. I also have a surprise to tell you. I can't control your affairs. Zhu Mingchu wants you to pay back the money. My dear mother, although you are not young now, you are still very charming. Lily took out the bag. Taking out her cell phone, Mother Wei felt a little embarrassed when she heard Lily's words. Just as she was about to speak, Lily had already pulled up the calculator on her cell phone. You don't have any skills. You can't do it with hard work, yes, you can't do complicated things, but you can wash dishes and cook. But the maximum you can do is 3,000 a month. If you want to pay back 5 million, you have to pay back 170 years. Zhu Mingchu doesn't know that. I've been waiting for you for so long, and the only shortcut you can do is to sell your skin. A woman of your age can earn $10 a month with $100 a time, 30 customers a day, and $3,000. 10,000, plus interest, you might be able to work for 6 or 7 years. The original smile on Mother Wei's face gradually stiffened when she heard Lily's words. She looked at Lily in disbelief, as if she didn't understand what Lily had just said. The premise is that Zhu Mingchu is willing to give you so many years, but he is obviously not willing, so you should spend the rest of your life in prison. I will visit you regularly. After Lily finished speaking, she looked at Wei coldly. After looking at her mother, she turned around and got into the car again, started the car and prepared to leave. Wait, wait, wait. Mother Wei seemed to come back to her senses when she heard the sound of the car starting. Her lips trembled so much that she subconsciously stretched out her hand to hold down the front of the car, with a look of humiliation and anger in her eyes. You have to apologize to me. I am your mother, and you actually asked me to do it. When Mother Wei said this, tears rolled down her eyes uncontrollably, and she cried so hard that I couldn't help but see her. She looked pitiful. The former Wei Bei would hate to see her like this. After all, they are two biological mothers and daughters, connected by blood. Even if Wei Bei hates her and is angry with her, she is always her only mother and the relative she can't let go of. Therefore, she obviously sometimes I hate her to the core, but I can't help but look at her pitiful appearance. But Lily was different. She was just holding up Lily's body. Deep down in her heart, she had no feelings for Wei's mother. No matter how sadly Wei's mother cried, it couldn't make her soften. She just looked at Wei's mother and said, "What did I say wrong that I need to apologize for? When you said these words, have you ever considered your father?" Mother Wei was so angry that she was trembling all over. She had a good temper in her life, and she had rarely been so angry. But this time, Mother Wei felt that she was really being harassed. Her daughter was angry. This time she knew that she would be unhappy if she bought Lily. But she really didn't expect that when her daughter knew that she was doing such a good thing, she didn't support her. Instead, she cursed her to do it. That kind of work. I don't expect you to support me, but I didn't expect you to say this about me. I'm so disappointed. I will never forgive you, and your father will never forgive you. You have no right to call him. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 806. Lily looked at Wei's mother's face through the car window and suddenly laughed. Who is disappointed in whom? You have done this again and again. You are the one that Dad will not forgive. The person he hates and dislikes the most is you. It was you who caused his Wei family to die, and it was you who caused his son to become a human being and a ghost now. It was you who turned Wei Rui into a. You dared to donate life-saving money, but you failed to shoulder the responsibility of a mother. You didn't even know how to look after his son. You went to look after other people's children and almost lost Wei Rui, causing him to lose his life. What do you have? Who are you to talk to me about disappointment? Zhu Mingchu is a businessman. Let me remind you one last thing. Zhu Mingchu is a businessman. If you can't pay back the money, he will peel off your skin and sell it. Don't think I will. If I help you again, I won't give you a penny, so just take your damn love and go to hell. After saying this, Lily stopped looking at Mother Wei's shocked face, started the car and backed away a little, reversed the car, and drove down the mountain. As soon as she left, Mother Wei covered her face and started crying. She was not wrong, and Father Wei would never lie to her. She could feel satisfied after helping others. Father Wei knew what kind of person she was from the beginning. People who have always praised her and said they loved her kindness the most would not be able to blame her, as Lily said, let alone how could Zhu Mingchu peel his own skin? Although Mother Wei had not seen the son-in-law a few times since he got married, he was gentle, and he responded to her requests. Originally, Mother Wei was worried that he was a rich man and would look down on a poor man like herself, but he did not. When I heard I needed money, he agreed to give her money without hesitation, whether it was because Wei Rui needed money when he was hospitalized, or later when he entered a nursing home and saw the living conditions of the elderly here, he felt pity for her and wanted to open a nursing home. He was so supportive of me, how could he let himself pay back the money? There are always many good people in the world. Mother Wei wiped her tears, thinking of her daughter's figure when she left just now, and subconsciously threw her next words behind her. Although she was a little dissatisfied with Lily saying that she was going to earn some money, Mother Wei's character couldn't be angry for long even if she was angry. Remembering that there were still many things that she needed to do in the nursing home, she had been doing a job just now. Plan, this was the task Zhu Mingchu gave her. He said that if she could make a plan, he would lend her the remaining money. Mother Wei didn't want to cry anymore. She wiped away her tears and quickly sat down at the table in the hospital again. After a while, the nursing home returned to the calmness it had at the beginning. After coming down from the mountain, Lily's face was still a little gloomy. As her attribute values increased, she was rarely affected by the emotions of the characters in the plot. And because of the increase in the number of missions she entered, she was now calm to the point of being indifferent. Are there any strange people in the mission? It's easy to calm down after encountering many people, but for people like Wei's mother, Lily couldn't help but feel a little irritated no matter how calm she was. When she drove back to the downstairs of her rented house, the car entered the garage, and she didn't. Instead of getting out of the car, she started to make plans in the car. Mother Wei could not let her stay like this anymore, it would cost her her life. Based on the character of the original owner, I am afraid he would be dissatisfied with this result. Even if she is wrong in all kinds of ways. But based on the fact that she gave birth to the original owner, Wei Bei, he would never want her life no matter how much he hated her. Now that Li Yangzi is not in the starry sky, if the mission fails, Lily couldn't afford that consequence. But if Mother Wei is allowed to continue struggling like this, she will not only be in trouble. Maybe he will be implicated by her again. Lily is not prepared to pamper her like the original owner. Wei Mu must be dealt with. This time, even if Zhu Mingchu doesn't send her to prison, Lily will send her too. In the next few days, Lily tried her best to squeeze out the funds in her hand. She planned to repay the original bank loan first, otherwise she was afraid that Zhu Mingchu would force her to return to Zhu's house and ask the bank for help. Pressure, if the bank continues to force her to repay the loan, her career that has just been started may be ruined. Fortunately, Lily has already guessed this. The beauty salon she opened was not big when she opened it, so she borrowed a loan from the bank. It's not much. Although it's a little difficult to squeeze it out now, after a few days of preparation, the 500,000 that I borrowed from the bank has almost been prepared. When Zhu Mingchu called again, Lily didn't even want to answer his call anymore, and directly put him on the blacklist. Zhu Mingchu was indeed not a good person. As a businessman, his gentleness was just his protective color. Forget it, now that Lily has made it clear that she wants to divorce him, naturally he has no reason to indulge Mother Wei anymore. But he still wanted to force Lily again. He didn't believe that Lily was so decisive this time. In addition to being willing to divorce him, she was really willing to leave Wei's mother and Wei Rui alone. He started to force Wei's mother to pay back the money. When Lily went up the mountain to warn Mother Wei had not taken what Lily said to heart. It was too easy to get money from Zhu Mingchui. How could she believe that Zhu Mingchui fell out so quickly and received Zhu Mingchui's money? At first, Wei's mother thought that Zhu Mingchui was joking with her. When she wanted to call Zhu Mingchui, she found that Zhu Mingchui didn't answer her call because she could easily get through in the past. Yes, sometimes after someone picks up the call, they will say that they have transferred it for her. At first, Wei's mother thought that after Zhu Mingchu was told, he would really call her back. However, as the debtor's attitude gradually became bad and Zhu Mingchu never called her back, Wei's mother finally, after realizing it, Zhu Mingchu didn't want to pay attention to her at all. She owes a huge sum of 5 million. The money had already bought this hilltop, and now even if she wanted to pay back the money, she couldn't even pay it back. Mother Wei might not be able to pay out 50,000 yuan, so how could she get 500 yuan? Wan Lai. However, people from Zhu's company were very urgent in collecting debts. The court even took over the case quickly under the Zhu family's instructions. Poor Wei's mother was a powerless ordinary woman who could hardly recognize the real big shots. How could he be the opponent of an old fox in the shopping mall like Zhu Mingchu? Before she could pay 5 million, the court froze the property in her name. This mountainous land was originally bought by her, so it was naturally one of her properties. The court froze the property directly to prepare debts after the auction. Pay off the Zhu family's debts. And the buyer who spent a small amount of money to buy this hilltop again was Zhu Mingchu. I bought this piece of land under the name of Mother Wei with my own money. It just changed hands. The money went into Zhu Mingchui's pocket, and the land also came into Zhu Mingchui's hands. Mother Wei had been struggling for a long time, but she still owed more than 100 yuan. Not to mention that the tens of thousands of debts have not been paid out, the land is gone, all the hard work was in vain, and she has also been accused of commercial fraud. If Zhu Mingchu insists on suing her, she will not be able to come up with the money. I will spend the next period of time in jail. These past few months have been like days for Mother Wei. She has always been weak and kind-hearted. This is the first time she has been involved in a lawsuit like this. She feels helpless every day. People who used to be around her now ignore her. The people in the nursing home hated her because the hilltop was going to be demolished and the Zhu family planned to develop the hilltop into villas and houses. The reason why Mother Wei was able to buy the land at a price as cheap as several million that day, because the reason she applied was to open a nursing home, and with the help of the Zhu family, the procedure went very quickly, and the purchase price was very cheap. But now that the land has changed hands, the Zhu family passed the court after acquiring the land at auction. He built a bungalow and villa. Once sold, the property would be worth 100 times. Zhu Mingchu almost did a cost-free business this time. The nursing home is also located in this land. The Zhu family wants to develop villas, and the people in this mountainous area will naturally be demolished. These people have long forgotten the scene when they coaxed Wei's mother to open a free nursing home, and everyone was resentful. Mother Wei's troubles caused them to lose their jobs, and some of them had to choose a nursing home again. Under the glare of these people, Mother Wei felt anxious and uneasy. She was obviously doing something good, but unfortunately no one paid attention to her in the end. When the Zhu family went up the mountain to measure on the first day, she saw her colleagues sitting in the car. Zhu Mingchu, the people in the nursing home have moved out, but Wei's mother was unwilling to leave. At this point, she still firmly believed that Zhu Mingchu could not lie to her. She also firmly believed that as long as she was the last to guard the nursing home, the old people who left would one day come back smiling. Mingchui, what's going on? When Zhu Mingchui's car came to the mountain, he heard someone from Zhu's enterprise reporting to Zhu Mingchui, saying that Wei's mother would not leave even if she lived or died. Wei's mother suddenly rushed out. Ever since the lawsuit started, Wei's mother had been very unhappy for a long time. There were red bloodshot eyes in her eyes and her hair had lost its luster. She lay on Zhu Ming's side. Before driving the car, he called Zhu Mingchuan's name anxiously. I haven't answered your call recently. Zhu's enterprise said that I owe money and will build this land into a house. I bought it to build a nursing home. You know this, Mingchu? As she shouted, she slapped Zhu Mingchu's car window. The window lowered, revealing Zhu Mingchu's still gentle face. Mrs. Wei, I know, but when we agreed, it was because of you. She is my mother-in-law. Now that Lily has decided to divorce me, what relationship does there have between us? In business, you also know that I am a businessman. Even if I am willing not to pursue the 5 million from you, Zhu, my family will not agree to throw this money away. If you are still my mother-in-law and Lily does not divorce me, then the family will naturally not have to mention anything about money. I also gave this land deed with both hands. At the beginning the appointment with you is final, but if Lily doesn't want to, then I'm sorry. After he finished speaking, he nodded to his mother-in-law with a calm expression, and the car window that had just been rolled down slowly rose again. Stand up. Somehow, when Zhu Mingchui said the words discussing business with a gentle smile, Wei's mother suddenly remembered what Lily had told her, that Zhu Mingchui was a businessman. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 807. How could someone like Mother Wei be better than Zhu Mingchui? She only heard the keywords she was willing to hear, which was that Zhu Mingchui said that if Lily didn't want to divorce him, this land would still be hers. The nursing home can still be opened. Those who moved out in despair will one day move back again with a smile. She asked Zhu Mingchui to give her a day and asked him to find a car to take her down the mountain. Lily has been very busy with fundraising these 2 days. Wei Rui went to the hospital again a few days ago due to the bad weather. At this juncture, Wei Rui's illness is undoubtedly a serious problem for Lily. To make her worse, her brother finally got out of the hospital. When she heard the receptionist at the beauty club called and said that her mother came to see her, Lily's eyes suddenly turned cold. Recently, the Zhu family auctioned off the land where the nursing home was originally located. Now it has spread throughout the city. Dealing with a businessman like Zhu Mingchui, Wei's mother was chewed to pieces, which was what Lily expected. Today's result: she had already expected that Lily was not going to pay back the money Wei's mother owed this time, not to mention that she really didn't have the ability to pay it back for her for the time being. Although someone brought Wei's mother in, Lily didn't do anything. She had no intention of giving face to Mother Wei. When Mother Wei came in, she was still sitting in the office taking stock of her property. After not seeing each other for several months, Mother Wei seemed to have aged a bit, and her lips were a little chapped. When she entered the office, she glanced at Lily timidly, as if she wanted to talk to her but didn't dare. At first, she stood tightly against the wall with her hands tied. The receptionist who led her there saw something was wrong and withdrew with a wink. Mother Wei stood for a while, but seemed not to feel Lily's indifference. When Lily ignored her, she whispered. The land on the mountain was taken back by Mingchu. He said that if you are willing to go back to the Zhu family, he is willing to give me the land to build a nursing home, and is willing to continue to contribute money to build the house once it started. Mother Wei gradually became more courageous. Those old people have been taken back. Now that they are alone and helpless, we must hurry up and take them back. This is also a thing that is beneficial to everyone. It is said in Buddhism, the cause of success in this life will repay the consequences in the next life. If you do good deeds, it is engraved on the 3 life stones. There will always be good rewards in the next life. I heard her mumbling. A wave of ill will suddenly surged out of Lily's heart. She couldn't help but slapped her hand on the table with a pop sound. Mother Wei's original words suddenly stopped. She was like a frightened quail. Glanced at Lily and opened his mouth. Speechless. Have you said enough? Taking a deep breath, Lily pushed the chair, leaned her back on the chair, and then stared at Wei Mu coldly. The relationship between me and Zhu Mingchui, you don't need to worry about it. You are not young anymore. Can you stop dreaming about unrealistic dreams all day long? How many people can you save by yourself? Can you see how the people around you are living? I am also a person with children. Instead of thinking about those illusory next lives, Mom, why don't you want to live this life well first? Look at Xiaoyui, look at me, can't you? At this moment Lily's impatience with Mother Wei had reached its peak. But she wanted to give Mother Wei one last chance. If Mother Wei really doesn't listen, no wonder she is cruel. After hearing what she said, Mother Wei looked at her with some confusion. You are living a good life, you have food to eat, clothes to wear, and you are taking care of Xiao Rui. I am also relieved, but those homeless people have nowhere to go yet, they. What Lily said just now was like playing the piano to an ox. Lily suddenly covered her eyes with her hands and laughed. I will only tell you these words once. If you can listen, you can listen. If you can't listen, I won't say it again. It's not easy for me to marry into the Zhu family. Zhu Yuan is not easy to mess with. My life it's not easy either. You only think about the people you want to help. You have never thought about what kind of life your daughter is living in the Zhu family. Wei Rui has me taking care of you. Don't worry, but I'm just his sister. It's not his mother. If it wasn't because Wei Bei he had a very protective mentality towards Wei Rui, maybe the original owner had a sympathetic feeling for Wei Rui when he was a child. The two siblings had a deep relationship, so Bei he also accepted her after entering the mission. Her wish was to take good care of her brother, otherwise Lily would simply not care about this responsibility that was not hers. Now for what land do you want me to sell myself to Zhu Mingchu? Why don't you sell it? I have warned you long ago that Zhu Mingchu is not to be messed with, but you don't listen. Now you want me to solve it for you. That's impossible. What's more, the nursing home was a good place to stay there. It didn't invite anyone or provoke anyone. If you just stay safe after entering and don't think about it for a while, the nursing home won't come up with any ideas. In the end, because of your actions, the mountainous land will be auctioned into commercial land. Now that it is facing demolition, it is impossible for those old people to move away. In the final analysis, it is because of your meddlesomeness. Your actions like this are harming people. Is it possible? Don't you understand yet? On the surface, Mother Wei's intention to buy the orphanage is good, but regardless of whether her starting point is right or not, but just looking at the process, she is indeed like a broom star to the people in the nursing home. If she is not so blind after all, if Zhu Mingchu wanted to get that piece of land, he couldn't buy it without 3.5 billion. Because of this idiot Wei Mu, he only spent more than 10 million to get the land, and he made a lot of money. Mother Wei, a loser, is also facing a lawsuit. You don't worry about yourself now, you worry about others. You are involved in a lawsuit. Zhu Mingqiu won't let you go. Just wait and stay in jail. You are still thinking about building a nursing home. What else do you want to do? Dream, wake up. After Lily said this, when she put down her hand, she only saw Mother Wei staring at her with a sad and forbearing expression, as if she was very sad, and she didn't even have any emotion in her eyes. Seeing that she was afraid, she hadn't realized the seriousness of the problem until now. Lily saw that Wei's mother was also starting to get irritated. She gave Wei's mother a cold look. I will temporarily rent a house for you, and you can move there in a few days. From now on, I will only give you a fixed amount of support every month. I will not take any extra money, whether you live or die. No matter what, it has nothing to do with me. If you still want to mess with it, that's your own business. You and Minky are a couple, why are you unwilling to help your mother? Those people were driven away, so pitiful. Get out. Lily didn't even want to say anything to her anymore, she pointed directly at the door and shouted. Mother Wei bit her lips and wanted to say more, but Lily directly picked up the phone on the table and called the person at the front desk. Come and lead Mother Wei out. There is no overnight feud between the two husbands and wives. Why do you insist on being stubborn with me when we are so good at killing two birds with one stone? Mother Wei didn't give up, but when the person at the front desk received the call, she knew that Lily was impatient and hurried away. Came over and took Mother Wei away in time. It was more than 2 hours later when she came out of the office after work. Lily originally wanted to take Wei's mother to Wei Rui temporarily, but she didn't expect to see any sign of Wei's mother when she came out, and the people at the front desk didn't either. I know where Mother Wei has gone. After all, she is such a big person, and it is impossible for everyone to stay by her side all the time. Recently, the business of the beauty club has gradually improved, and there are many customers. Mother Wei doesn't know where she is now. After going, Lily didn't take it to heart. Anyway, Mother Wei ran away by herself. She was such a big person. If she didn't even have the ability to take care of herself, if she could see her once, she wouldn't be able to see her a second time. After taking the elevator from the beauty club to the parking lot, Lily didn't have time to open her car. Suddenly, the sound of a speeding car came over. Lily turned her head and saw a red car. A corner of the sports car happened to be blocked in front of her parking spot. The car was turned off. When the door opened, Zhu Yuanyuan, who had not been seen for almost half a year, came out of the car wearing sunglasses and a lotus-colored dress. When she saw Lily, he took off the sunglasses on his face. Wei Bei he. Move the car. Lily unlocked her car and shouted to Zhu Yuanyuan, but Zhu Yuanyuan didn't seem to hear her words. She rushed over and raised her hand to Lily, wanting to raise her hand to her face. She slapped her. Lily stretched out her hand and grabbed her wrist. Before Zhu Yuanyuan could react, she suppressed Zhu Yuanyuan behind her car. With a bang, Zhu Yuanyuan's face was slightly deformed when she pressed it against the glass. Her arms were cut behind her back, her hair, which had been carefully taken care of, was scattered all over the car. Her face looked a little embarrassed, but she endured the pain and pursed her lips tightly to prevent herself from shouting. Want to hit me, because Mother Wei came today. Lily was not in a good mood at the moment. Zhu Yuanyuan had suffered a lot of suffering from the original owner before, but now that she was in her hands, she didn't need to looking at Zhu Yuanyuan's face again. Naturally she was happy. Lily stretched out her hand and pulled her long hair, forcing Zhu Yuanyuan to lift her head. This posture obviously caused Zhu Yuanyuan some pain, and her face turned red. Her forehead was pulled extremely tight at the root of her scalp. She tried hard to struggle, but her hair and arms were caught in Lily's palm, and her body was suppressed by Lily's knees. No matter how hard she struggled, it was of no avail. On the contrary, he was sweating profusely and looked a little embarrassed. What if I beat you? Shameless. Your mother, a shameless old thing, gave birth to a shameless little thing like you. Before she could finish her words, Lily raised her hand and slapped her in the face without thinking. Zhu Yuanyuan's whole body was covered by the slap. She obviously didn't expect that Lily would dare to hit her back. She forgot to struggle for a moment. It took a long time to react before she screamed. Wei Bei he, you bitch, I'm going to ask Zhu Mingchui to dump you and beat you to death. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 808. Hurry up and ask your Zhu Mingchui to beat me to death. I don't want to live anymore. My mother owes so much money. Zhu Mingchui beat me to death. In the future, your Zhu family will be able to compensate and have to pay for me. I have made a profit by raising a mother for a lifetime. Lily originally wanted to scold Zhu Yuanyuan, but after thinking about it, she stabbed her again, which made Zhu Yuanyuan furious, and she was so angry that she could not help but tremble. Who wants to raise that shameless child for you? Your mother? Your mother still dares to go to my house to find Zhu Mingchui to get back together with you. Why, my brother is ignoring you now. When the younger one is no longer good, let the older one take over. Bah! You can't enter the Zhu family's door. Yes, when you went out, don't think about coming back if you can. There's no way you can come back. Zhu Yuanyuan's face was livid, her face was smeared with tears, and the carefully painted eyeliner on her eyes was smudged. She was like a spoiled young lady who knew nothing about the world. She really liked Zhu Mingchui, knowing the consequences of her making trouble like this. How long can Zhu Mingchu tolerate her? The tragedy of Wei Lily in the plot originally had nothing to do with Zhu Yuanyuan. Lily originally just wanted to cut off the relationship with the Zhu family. Now that Zhu Yuanyuan has taken the initiative to come to the door, if she didn't say this on behalf of the original owner, it would really be a shame. Too much to miss this great opportunity. The reason why Zhu Mingkai could accept Zhu Yuanyuan and indulged her in the early stage was just because Wei Bei didn't make trouble in the early stage. When the trouble happened in the later stage, it had little effect. He and Zhu Yuanyuan had a brother-sister relationship for many years. So he was a little more submissive to her. As for fully accepting her later, it was actually because Zhu Mingchu hid her affair partner because of Wei Bei, so he was imprisoned. During those times in prison, Zhu Yuanyuan changed her previous willfulness and cheered for him. When Zhu Mingchu thought that he had been betrayed by his wife, Zhu Yuanyuan stood by him, which really touched him, and finally made him accept Zhu Yuanyuan from the bottom of his heart. But now Lily has no intention of having an affair during the actual marriage. Secondly, she no longer quarreled with Zhu Mingchui about Zhu Yuanyuan like the original owner did, and pushed him towards Zhu Yuanyuan. Without the subsequent cheating incident, Zhu Mingchui would not hurt anyone again. Things. Similarly, he will not go to jail again. If he does not go to jail, Zhu Yuanyuan will not be able to find the opportunity to share hardships with him. Without that opportunity, Zhu Yuanyuan will always be his sister. In this life, Zhu Yuanyuan wants to step on Wei Bei and become Zhu Mingchu's wife. She wouldn't even dream of it. Lily doesn't want Zhu Mingchu, but she will never give it to someone like Zhu Yuanyuan. I want to go back. I don't need your consent. I want to go back. Zhu Mingchu will drive to pick him up soon. In what capacity do you disagree? It can be heard from Zhu Yuanyuan's words that Mother Wei must have gone to see Zhu Mingchu. And it seemed that he went to seek peace with Zhu Mingchu on his behalf. Lily knew without asking that she should have gone to find Zhu Mingchu after Wei's mother was taken away by her in the afternoon. Zhu Yuanyuan liked Zhu Mingchu to the core. Lily is not going back to the Zhu family now. She is the happiest person. She thinks that her opportunity is right in front of her. Mother Wei's actions undoubtedly broke her hopes. She is not a calm person to begin with, so this happened. She rushed over to demonstrate to Lily and wanted to hit her. Lily was disgusted when she thought of Mother Wei's actions, but no matter how annoying Mother Wei was, Lily already had a way to deal with her and would not show it at this time. But Zhu Yuanyuan heard Lily say this. Even the eye circles are red. Why are you so shameless? Zhu Mingchu doesn't want you anymore. The Zhu family doesn't welcome you. You're not in the Zhu family. My parents have eaten a few extra bowls of rice. How can you have the shame to go back to the Zhu family again? She finished. I don't know what he thought of, but he gritted his teeth and said, in addition to being interested in Zhu Mingchu's money, you also saw other people, right? My eldest brother is quite capable, and has a strong body. Doesn't it make you happy? You can't bear to let him go. Are you there? You shameless girl. Before she could finish her words, Lily grabbed her hair and slapped her on the face again, knocking back what Zhu Yuanyuan had not finished. Zhu Yuanyuan struggled desperately again, and Lily pulled her up. She was thrown to the ground by her hair. Zhu Yuanyuan was wearing high heels. She had just been slapped twice and was dizzy. Now she was thrown again. Her center of gravity was unstable and she staggered. The toe of her left toe hooked her right foot. Although she tried her best to stand still, but it was not easy to stabilize her center of gravity when wearing high heels, and at this time, it was under the influence of other places, so she was thrown to the ground with her face turned pale, and she could not control her upper body. He fell to the ground, his bones falling apart as if they were falling apart, and he couldn't stand up for a long time. If other women heard Zhu Yuanyuan's words, they would probably be so ashamed that they could not hold their heads up. Such words would be a humiliation for every woman who has received Chinese traditional education, especially when Zhu Yuanyuan said these words with a sense of humiliation. It was insulting. If others heard her say this, they would be angry and embarrassed and speechless, but Lily didn't even raise her eyelids. You want face? You want face and you want to interfere with your brother's affairs in the house? You also know that he is your eldest brother, and he is good at being strong. Have you used it? Lily walked towards Zhu Yuanyuan and stared down at her. She looked until Zhu Yuanyuan was a little creeped out, then she stretched out her toes and kicked Zhu Yuanyuan hard on the waist. She kicked out without using any internal force. But Lily was wearing pointed stilettos. Even if the kick was kicked out without any internal force, Zhu Yuanyuan was still so painful that she broke into a cold sweat. She was trembling all over and didn't dare to move for a while. She only moved once and felt pain in her waist. She was in such pain. She had never suffered like this before. Although she was adopted by the Zhu family, Zhu's father and mother had no daughters. They always regarded her as their own daughter. They were afraid of falling when they held her in their hands. They were always very kind to her. The eldest brother Zhu Mingchu doted on her again. Zhu Yuanyuan was beaten for the first time since she could remember. She didn't expect it to be so painful. I know you are here to avenge Zhu Mingchu, but you don't know how jealous you are of me sleeping under your eldest brother. How shameless you are. You wish his strong body could do it. You are not the one who is happy, right? Who is the cheap one? Shameless and shameless things, the Zhu family is really disgusting. A bitch like your elder brother would not even give it to me. Let you digest this kind of rag slowly. What a pair of siblings, they are so shameless together. No wonder you, Miss Zhu are still not married at such a young age. You don't even fall in love, you are always teasing Zhu Ming and making trouble. Now I have found out the reason. Lily, regardless of whether there was surveillance or other people in the parking lot, Zhu Yuanyuan was yelling at Zhu Yuanyuan, who was pale and embarrassed, until Zhu Yuanyuan's face turned pale and her eyes showed fear. She snorted coldly and stretched out her hand. He grabbed Zhu Yuanyuan's hair, pulled her up, and dragged her towards her red BMW. Get away from me, stop provoking me, and drive away immediately. This car is in my name. Send me the money tomorrow, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. After Lily said that, she pushed Zhu Yuanyuan away. After the car hit, Zhu Yuanyuan fell down on the car with a bang. Before she could recover from the shock, Lily glanced at her. Why don't you get out? Hearing this, Zhu Yuanyuan seemed to have reacted. She cried with a wow and dropped the glasses she just dropped on the ground. Now she no longer had the same momentum as when she got off the car. He pulled open the car door and locked the car with a bang. The car first backed out, then turned a corner, and drove away quickly in a short time. After she left and made way for her to drive out, Lily sneered and took out the car keys from her bag. Before she could unlock the car, a burst of applause rang out. She turned her head and stopped not far away. The roof of a silver-gray sports car was slowly lowered, revealing the face of a sitting young man. He smiled and applauded Lily, obviously seeing the scene where she had just beaten and scolded Zhu Yuanyuan. There was no movement in the sports car just now. Lily, I thought there was no one in the parking lot, but I didn't expect someone was hiding and watching. She frowned and didn't pay attention to the man's appearance. She opened the car door directly, reversed the car and drove out. The man left behind touched his chin and laughed softly. When she returned home, Lily changed her clothes first and then went to see Wei Rui. Wei's mother was also there. She didn't know when she came. She was sitting in front of Wei Rui and gently touched his head. Rui looked a little arrogant, and when he saw Lily coming over, his eyes lit up. Sister, sister. He is not very intelligent and doesn't speak many words. Sometimes he can be bored all day without saying a word. Apart from being a crybaby, it's actually not difficult to take care of him. It's a pity that Wei's mother doesn't have it. Without paying attention to this, she put most of her efforts on those who she thought were in need of help, but often ignored her son, who deserved the most help. Lily coaxed Wei Rui for a while, told him stories, and coaxed him to take medicine. The nurse pushed him to take a bath, and then Lily gave Wei's mother a cold look. "Have you gone to see Zhu Mingchu?" What Mother Wei is most afraid of now is that Lily ignores her. Now that Lily is willing to tell her about Zhu Mingchu, Mother Wei is very excited. She thinks that the matter in the nursing home has something to tell, so she quickly nodded. "You and her Mingchu has always been a husband and wife. How can two couples be separated for a long time? Even if they go back to Zhu's house, you always say that I don't care about you. Today I went to Zhu's house to ask for you. Although your parents-in-law are angry with you, as long as you go back and admit your mistake and apologize, they will eventually forgive you. You see, Xiaorui is also close to me." If she hadn't known Mother Wei's character, Lily would have thought that Mother Wei was just putting on a show by doing these things today. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 809. Today, Lily said that Mother Wei had never cared about her children. She turned around and went to Zhu's house to find someone. She came back to see her son. Lily looked at Mother Wei's smiling face until she seemed a little unimpressed. When he felt at ease, he sneered. "Zhu Yuan just came to me and said that you are really shameless and want to take the Zhu family's money. Unfortunately, the Zhu family never thought of giving you the money." Mother Wei didn't expect to hear Lily say this, and was stunned. The next moment, her face turned red and her lips moved, trying to say that it was not money that she wanted to say, but Lily didn't wait for her to speak. "You don't need to explain, now I don't want to interfere with your affairs. I can take care of myself in the future, but I don't need you to take care of my affairs now. What did I do in the early years? Now I think about being a responsible mother. Do you remember how old I am? Already?" Originally, Mother Wei thought that she went to negotiate with the Zhu family on behalf of Lily today because she was responsible for her daughter. However, she was wronged by Lily, and she felt aggrieved in her heart. Seeing Lily say this, she ignored her and turned to her. My head went out, and I couldn't help but cover my mouth and cry again. Mother Wei had been warned that Zhu Mingchu was not to be trifled with. There was no movement from the Zhu family after beating Zhu Yuan that day, and Zhu Mingchu did not call again. The Zhu family had passed all the formalities and approvals for their land in the mountains. Now, her son has already begun to prepare to build a house, and Wei's mother is as anxious as an ant on a hot pot every day. If the house is really built into a villa, there will be little chance of it being turned into a nursing home. No matter how stupid Mother Wei is, she will never think that the Zhu family will give her the land again after investing a lot of money. If she can't get Zhu Mingchuo's help in the early stage, Zhu Mingchuo will invest money in the later stage. It's even less possible to help her. She goes back and forth between Zhu's house and Wei Rui's house every day, but now she can't see Zhu Mingchu at all. She goes out early and comes back late every day for several days. People have lost weight. Lily took advantage of these days to pay off the bank loan. Although she was living a tight life, fortunately, the beauty salon was successfully opened. When he returned home at night, Wei Rui was already asleep. The nurse who took care of Wei Rui today was sitting in the living room. When she saw Lily coming over, her eyes lit up. "Miss Wei, you are back. Yesterday, Xiaorui said she wanted to drink pork rib soup. I stewed some, and there is still some left. Can I serve you a bowl? The most important thing for these caregivers is to take turns taking care of Wei Rui's daily life. Today, he looked specially waiting for her to come over, as if he had something to say to her. Lily nodded. It was very hard to take care of a patient like Wei Rui. He had to stay away from people for 24 hours. If he was slightly neglectful, Wei Rui would there may be some minor problems. Therefore, several people would take care of her in shifts every day. If Wei Rui was not sick, they would normally work 8 hours a day. The room was quiet. The other two caregivers were probably still sleeping. Wei's mother was not at home. The caregiver brought soup. When he came out, he looked at Lily, who was hesitant to speak. My mother hasn't come back yet. After the nursing home was demolished, Wei's mother had nowhere to go. Lily originally rented a house for her. I don't want to live next to Mother Wei. Out of sight, out of mind, but unexpectedly, Wei's mother thought that the house was too much and wasted, so she packed up her things and moved to Wei Rui. Instead, she took the house that Lily rented for her and adopted a few people who usually live in the main city. It is home to elderly people begging for food. Lily didn't find out until half a month ago, and drove him out in anger. It was cleaned up and turned into a dormitory for several beauticians in the beauty club. Because of this, Wei's mother thought she was too mean and was very dissatisfied with Lily. She ignored her for the past few days and left when Lily came to see Wei Rui before going out in the morning. Mother Wei came back after dark. The mother and daughter had not met each other for several days. Now Lily asked about Mother Wei, and the nurse breathed a sigh of relief, as if she finally found a chance to speak. Miss Wei, can you give us this month's living expenses in advance? We don't have much money now. After she finished speaking, she seemed to be afraid that Lily would blame them for spending money carelessly, and she even prepared herself. He took out the account books placed on the small table next to the sofa. This is Xiao Rui's daily expenses for the past half month. In addition to some medicines and supplements that he regularly uses, the daily expenses for food and living expenses are all here. Lily just handed over this month's living expenses to a few people half a month ago. It has only been more than 10 days now. She used to be able to spend more than a month's money, but now she has lost it. In the past half month, Wei's mother has lived here again. You don't need to think about who has to do with it if the money is gone. But even if there is one more person, the money will not be spent so fast. Lily's living expenses for Wei Rui are always more, not less. She remained silent and the nurse licked her lips uneasily. Sister Xiaowei has been asking me for fares every day for the past half month when she goes out. 100 yuan a day. There is no direct bus to the mountain, especially the hilltop was not a prosperous place before. If you want to go up the mountain, you have to take a private car. Apart from driving up, the only other option was to take a taxi. In order to see Zhu Mingchu, Wei's mother traveled between the mountains and her home in the city every day. The round-trip taxi fare was at least 80 or 90 yuan, and she didn't. It's not that she doesn't save money. She usually doesn't drink water if she can, and doesn't eat as much as possible if she doesn't want to eat. However, she can't save the money for the fare. She asked the nurse for it. After all, Wei's mother is Lily's mother. She opened it. Several caregivers didn't know how to refuse the employer's mother, so they always gave in despite being embarrassed. Therefore, in less than half a month, the money was almost spent, and they saw that they would lose their money in 2 days. After several nurses discussed it, they bit the bullet and made the request to Lily. Having already guessed this result, Lily put down the bowl with a cold face. Forget it this time, my mother can't give her another penny. If she wants to eat at home, then she will eat it. If she doesn't, then she will eat it. There is no need to give her extra expenses. If you want to pay for the fare, then that is your business. If you encounter such a situation again and ask me for money next time, I will not give it to you again. This period in the beauty club was originally the most difficult time, and now she still has to worry about these trivial things at home. Fortunately, Lily is very patient and has a lot of tolerance. Otherwise, she would have been unable to bear it any longer. Mother Wei is a bottomless pit, and she can fill it up no matter what. She was dissatisfied, and she was not going to fill it out anymore. When the nurse heard this, she looked a little arrogant on the outside. He knew that she was unhappy, so he didn't dare to say more. He agreed several times, took the money and hurriedly hid in the room. When Mother Wei asked people for fares again the next morning, these people were greeted by Lily, but they refused to pay any more. Although Mother Wei felt sour after knowing the reason, her daughter did not want to give endless gifts now. She made money, and even became more and more indifferent to her. She begged, and said good things to her, but Lily didn't want to pay attention to her at all. Mother Wei had nothing to do and could no longer go to the construction site. She began to give Zhu Ming frequent Wei's mother called her and the Zhu family, but no one in the Zhu family paid attention to her. It wasn't until a few days later that people from the police station came to the door and took her into the police station in the name of commercial fraud. Wei's mother never returned. Did not return. On the day he learned that Wei's mother had been taken away, Zhu Mingchu called Lily. He came to ask about Lily's final decision. Now that things have happened, it is obviously impossible to return the land to Wei's mother. Zhu Mingchu's idea is that if Lily is willing to reconcile with him, he will withdraw the charges against Wei's mother and be willing to pay bail for her and take her out. Lily had long wanted to teach Wei's mother a lesson, but when she heard Zhu Mingchui's call, she not only refused to agree, but deliberately mentioned Zhu Yuan on the phone to stimulate him. Zhu Mingchui was so angry that Wei's mother was sentenced to 6 months in prison. Generally, this kind of money-related matter is a civil dispute and will not lead to jail time. Unfortunately, in order to help others, Wei's mother owed money too many times in the past, and her credit has already hit rock bottom. In addition, Zhu Mingchui wanted to punish her again. Although the money she owed Zhu Mingchui was almost repaid after the land was auctioned, she was still found guilty and imprisoned in the end. On the day she was found guilty, Mother Wei thought she had a clear conscience at first. Firstly, she did not cheat, and secondly, she was loyal and worthy of heaven and earth. She originally thought that there was justice in the world and someone would help her stand up. However, the lawyer arranged by the court for her did not have much effect at all. When she heard that she was going to jail, Wei's mother was stunned. Neither Lily nor Wei Rui went there that day. There were all strangers around, and no one was familiar. Zhu Mingchu didn't show up. The ones who appeared on behalf of the Zhu family were a group of lawyers raised by the Zhu family. Mother Wei felt like the world was spinning. She had been anxious and upset these days. When she knew that she was going to jail, she thought she would faint. Past. Life in prison was not easy for others, but apart from the initial disappointment and discomfort, Wei's mother soon discovered that there were many people in the prison who needed her help. When others occasionally bullied others, Wei's mother, a person with such a soft character as her mother, did not resist. On the contrary, sometimes people bullied her, but she couldn't tell it at all. Without being forced, she had already started doing laundry and doing things for others. Over time, she could clearly see Wei's mother's character. No one bullied her anymore, and her life gradually calmed down. When she was in jail for the 5th month, Lily visited her once. She was sitting in the reception room with a gentle smile on her face. Although she was still a little bit worried about the things that had not been done in the nursing home, she was so far gone. Even if she was unhappy, there was nothing she could do about it. When Lily came back to see her, Mother Wei initially complained that her daughter was too cruel. "I thought you had forgotten me as a mother and stopped coming to see me," she complained, her eyes a little red. She spent 5 months in prison and had endless work to do every day in prison. She pointed her finger at it was much thicker. When Lily reached out to comb her hair, she saw that many places between her finger and metacarpal joints had peeled off and developed calluses. Life in prison is not bad. Take good care of Xiaorui. How is your beauty salon going? Lily didn't say anything, so Mother Wei couldn't help but ask. To be continued. Carrot. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 810. Lily nodded, and the next moment Mother Wei showed a relieved smile. Seeing her look like this, Lily knew that nothing good was going on. As expected, Mother Wei laughed the next moment. I'm in prison. I got to know a lot of inmates in prison. These sisters are also hard-working people. Your beauty salon has a good business, but it needs people to work anyway. I heard that the starting salary for those beauticians is 7,000 to 8,000 a month. Why not hire these sisters? They can also learn and give you a helping hand. It can not only help them, but also help the country solve the employment problem of these sisters after they come out. Those young girls have skills anyway, and they can also find other jobs. He had already guessed the character of a person like Mother Wei. Lily was not surprised at all when she said such words. Mother Wei was so annoying that she could forget about bothering her before. At most, she would just go to the money. In Wei's mother's name now extends even further, and she even has to take care of her own business. If she is allowed to continue like this, one day she will cause even greater trouble. Thinking of this, Lily sneered in her heart with a sound. His eyes narrowed, with a bit of murderous intent in his eyes, and he became more determined to deal with Mother Wei. I opened a beauty salon that made money, not a charity center. I thought you had learned well, but now it seems that you are still the same. Zhu Mingchu didn't teach you a lesson at first, but now that you are in jail, you still. I was thinking of these ideas. I couldn't afford to play in the nursing home, but I thought of playing on me. If you have the ability, I don't have any problem with you asking hundreds of people to do things for you, but my career is mine. It doesn't belong to you. Just stay alone. I won't come here again. Mother Wei originally thought that this was just something Lily did casually, and she never thought that she might refuse. From Mother Wei's point of view, Lily needs to hire someone to do some work. These women in jail need to work after they are released from prison. They have criminal records, and most of them can only do hard work and low wages after they get out. It was difficult to live well. She sympathized with these people, so she wanted to arrange work for these people. After accidentally revealing to others that she could arrange work for them, she had already helped many people in prison. She had agreed to this, and this was precisely because she was not beaten, scolded, or bullied by others in prison. After all, a soft peach like Wei can not only do laundry and work for others, but also arrange a job for herself after being released from prison. Who would be stupid enough to hit her again in vain? Mother Wei didn't think about that. She just thought that everything in the world was bright. She casually mentioned work to Lily today, but she didn't expect that Lily not only refused to agree, but also hurt her. This time Lily came to see her, and the mother and daughter broke up unhappy. After returning home, Lily started spending money to find someone. It was not an option for Mother Wei to continue making trouble like this. All the gold and silver could be emptied by her. She was here to fulfill Wei Beihi's wish, not to serve Wei Beihi and satisfy her troublesome old mother. The reason why Wei's mother had not been dealt with before was just because Lily didn't want it. It was just something that went wrong with the mission when Li Yangzi was away. Now that she was sure that there was no way to change Wei's mother's character, she was naturally ready to do things in her own way. When Wei's mother came out of prison after the 6-month period, no one came to pick her up. When she came out of the prison gate alone, even the prison guard felt sorry for her and drove her back in a car. After being released from prison, Wei's mother refused to give up. She also wanted to talk to Lily about solving work problems for the inmates in the prison, But Lily didn't even want to see her. Wei's mother knew this too, and would wait for Lily's return every time by Wei Rui's side. This trick of sitting back and waiting was very useful. Lily didn't want to see Wei's mother, but she always wanted to see Wei Rui. She would always care about her brother's situation every day. Only then did Wei's mother come out of prison. She had no job and no place to go. She was originally in the nursing home. She had given up on everything, and now she had to solve work problems for the inmates, which naturally entangled Lily. Lily was pestered endlessly in a few days, especially when Mother Wei told the people in the prison her mobile phone number. Since half a year ago, people have been calling her one after another, or running to the beauty salon to ask for her name. The women who came here to learn the craft were introduced by the boss's mother. Except for a small number of these women who came out of the prison, they were still reasonable, and most of them had a toughness about them. It is impossible to live in a civilized place where people are living. When the people who came to make trouble heard that there were no jobs for them, they immediately felt that they had been cheated. Sometimes they would make a lot of noise, and some security guards could not even stop them. Among them, Lily once hit a woman who came to the door and refused to leave, screaming "Wow!" After that, she hired a few more security guards, and things gradually became peaceful. Why aren't you willing to give these poor people some re-employment opportunities? It's not like they eat and drink from you for free. Those young girls have skills and abilities and can go out and find jobs on their own. These are all an honest person. I won't suffer any loss if I work for you. Why don't you want to help others more? Mother Wei really didn't understand why she, a helpful person like herself, would be so cruel when giving birth to a daughter. It was ruthless. After she blocked Lily in Wei Rui's room, she asked Lily with some disappointment. I opened the store to make money, not to do charity. I know the virtues of the people you introduced. One or two of them had good character. Lily stayed and worked as a sweeper, but the salary would definitely not be the same as before. Mother Wei boasted about her high status, so these honest people felt a little disappointed and went to find another job. However, they never thought that they had a criminal record and the jobs they could find were limited, so they finally left again. Asked to come back. However, jobs are not always waiting for them, so when their jobs are gone, these people inevitably come to Mother Wei to complain, and the conflict arises again. Lily thinks the most annoying thing about Mother Wei is that she will always stick to her own opinions. She won't listen to what others have told her hundreds of times. Mother Wei is the biological mother of the original owner. If he beat her by himself, Lily Wei won't do it. She must be able to accept it, not to mention Lily also has to worry about public opinion, so she has to endure it if she bothers her again before taking care of Wei Mu. After she finished explaining, Mother Wei still didn't listen. They are all good. You will know it after you get along with them for a long time. Many of their families have elders and younger children. There are so many mouths in the house waiting for food and drink. Why? You can't do good things. Can you shut up sometimes? Do you think you are annoying? Mother Wei has no temper. She is like a soft dough person. She wouldn't talk back if you scolded her. She would just stare at you, hurt or cry, but after wiping away her tears she continued to talk about herself, and Lily scolded her. Her eye circles were a little red. Lily stretched out her hand to straighten Wei Rui's hair. He fell asleep, still chanting under the dim light, "Dongpo meat, delicious." Compared with Mother Wei's nagging, Wei Rui's words in her sleep made Lily couldn't help but smile. She sat for a while, ignoring Mother Wei who wanted to talk to her again. She walked out of the room directly. Mother Wei originally wanted to follow her, but Lily quickened her pace and slammed the door shut with a bang before she could enter the room. Mother Wei's matter could no longer be delayed. When Lily went out the next day and was blocked by Mother Wei again, she motioned to Mother Wei to follow her into the car. Along the way, Mother Wei thought about how difficult life was for her friends in prison. Lily turned a deaf ear, and when the car arrived at the beauty salon, she threw Wei Mu into the reception room and asked a security guard to keep an eye on Wei Mu. This security guard is about 40 years old, and he is the oldest veteran among the group of people Lily is looking for. He has a slightly impulsive temper, but he is not a bad person. His family was too poor in his early years, and he got older after he retired, which delayed the marriage. So I have been single till now. From that day on, he deliberately took Wei's mother to the company every day. Every time, the security guard kept an eye on Wei's mother and told her not to run around for a few days. Mother Wei looked a little uncomfortable. Although she is in her 40s and almost 50 years old, she is naive by nature. In addition, she had good looks when she was young, so she looked about 40 years old, even slightly younger than the security guard. She was originally sympathetic, but the miserable life experience of the security guard named Zhang aroused Wei's mother's concern. She sympathized with him, so she could not help but take extra care of him sometimes. She was a dog that could not change her shit-eating character. At first, she only tried to comfort others verbally. Later, she even saw that this old man had no woman to take care of him at his age, so she volunteered to do the laundry for others. It seemed to everyone else that it was clear to everyone what it meant for a woman to wash clothes for men, but Mother Wei didn't think about it that much. She was used to washing clothes for others in prison, so she didn't think about it at all, but then a few days later, Lao Zhang looked at Wei's mother with something strange in his eyes. She looked full of love. In his early years, when he was young, many people despised him for being poor and refused to marry him. He also saw through that these women were unreliable, and his favorite was a compassionate, gentle, and kind-hearted woman like Mother Wei, even though she was more than 10 years older than him. But it gave him the warmth of home, but because Mother Wei was the mother of the landlady, he did not dare to do anything. Seeing that Mother Wei often did his laundry, Lao Zhang became a little excited. If he could marry Wei, mother, not only will he have a daughter in the future, he will have someone to rely on, and he will even have a family of his own. The situation at home may also improve. If he becomes the stepfather of the boss lady, how can he be just a small security guard in the future? His words revealed his pity from time to time, urging Mother Wei to say something nice for him in front of Lily. He originally hoped that Mother Wei would make their relationship public, but who would have expected that Mother Wei didn't think about it at all and just thought that he thought the security guard's salary was low, so when Lily came to see Wei Rui again in the evening, she started nagging in Lily's ear again. There is a man named Xiao Zhang in the club. I think he is not bad. He is honest, but his salary is a bit low. He is a man in his 30s and almost 40. He has not yet found a wife. How about you pay more every month? Give him some wages and let him save more. Lily was fed up when she heard Mother Wei's ignorant words. If he adds one person, can the others be added? How much does he add alone? How much should the others add? I said, this is not a charity, but a place for business. What's more, this is my business. Why are you here to dictate? Don't you realize that you can ruin the same thing just by doing the same thing? Can you not care about others? Can you just do it by yourself? You are not young anymore. If you have nothing to do, can you take care of Wei Rui at home? You haven't washed his clothes yet, but you still wash them for the security guard? Have you ever thought about it? People in the company have spread the news that you two are getting along. Can you save me some trouble for a day? Hearing Lily's words, Mother Wei was greatly shocked. She thought she was loyal to the sun and the moon, but she didn't expect that others would see her like this. She originally wanted to say good things for the security guard again, but Lily said her gossip with the security guard. She also flinched a little and didn't dare to mention it again. Since then, Wei's mother no longer dared to go to beauty salons. She stayed at home every day and stopped contacting Lao Zhang. Lao Zhang is obsessed with her and chases her fiercely every day. To put it nicely, Mother Wei has a good heart and is willing to help others. To put it harshly, she was a good person who didn't know how to reject others. 2 months later, under Lao Zhang's persistent pursuit, she ended up with him inexplicably. At first, Lao Zhang tried to act like a boss, but later he felt bored when he saw that Lily ignored him and insulted him again. One time when he wanted to point fingers at the people at the beauty salon, Lily scolded him. He felt so shameless that he turned around and resigned in anger. After resigning, Lao Zhang initially lived with Wei Rui, but later felt a little angry and moved back to his own rented home. Wei's mother was his girlfriend. They also moved together, and Lily felt that the whole world had become quieter. When she invited Lao Zhang, she thought he was a good candidate to take Wei Mu away, but the matter did not end there. Wei Mu's character could not be changed, so she moved to Lao Zhang's house not long ago. Oh my God, Lily received a call from the hospital half a month later, saying that Wei's mother was paralyzed. Her spine was broken by Lao Zhang. The broken bones damaged the nerves, causing her to lose feeling in the lower half of her limbs. When we got to the hospital, Mother Wei was lying on the hospital bed. In a few days, she seemed to have lost a lot of weight. The bruises on her face were still there, and she was wearing a ventilator. Lily looked coldly through the glass door of the ward with an indifferent expression. She had expected this day. She expected that Mother Wei was beaten. With Mother Wei's character and Lao Zhang's character, this day was inevitable. She couldn't beat Mother Wei, but she could borrow the help of others to deal with Mother Wei and teach her a lesson. She just didn't expect it. How could Lao Zhang be so ruthless and stop her worries all at once? Lily opened the door, but Wei's mother hadn't woken up yet. The police who arrived later told her what had happened. Wei's mother had a boyfriend, but she still couldn't change her character. She took the 40,000 yuan that Lao Zhang had spent most of his life and donated it all to a nursing home. This Lao Zhang was not easy to bully like Father Wei at the time. When he found out, he became furious and immediately asked Mother Wei to come back. Mother Wei couldn't bear it. She explained a few words. Not only did she not ask for it, but she persuaded Lao Zhang to do it with her. For a good deed, Lao Zhang got angry and beat her half to death with his fist. Later, when he was drunk and still not relieved, he hit Wei with something and hit her hard, who was lying on the bed to rest after being beaten. The bones in his mother's body were broken and nerves were cut. When she was sent to the hospital, her mother was already unconscious. The doctor waited for the police to finish speaking, and then began to explain the situation of Wei's mother. She needed an operation immediately, but the possibility of paralysis of the operator was very high, so he could only do his best. Lily signed. Wei's mother was in an emergency and was pushed into the operating room. The result of the operation was as the doctor had expected. She was paralyzed. When she knew all this, Wei's mother was completely blinded. She didn't dare to do it every day. Believing, he beat his legs that had lost all feeling and muttered to himself. I always do good things, why is this happening? She always did good deeds, but no matter whether it was the people she helped or the people who were forced to help others with her, no one remembered her and was grateful to her, especially the few things she did. There were very serious consequences. Lao Zhang was introduced by Lily, and he was indeed determined to cure Wei's mother's cancer at once. But the plan depends on the person, and the success of the matter still depends on Wei's mother's own wishes. If she had been more restrained back then, not to get involved with Lao Zhang, and not to do things for others that she was not supposed to do just because they were pitiful, how would Lao Zhang have the chance to get involved with her? If Mother Wei and Lao Zhang manage their lives well after they get together, instead of taking other people's money as money and donating Lao Zhang's money like before, she will not be angry. The irrational Lao Zhang was beaten like this. After all, she was the one who sought death. As the saying goes, if you don't seek death, you won't die. Lily dug a hole for Mother Wei, and she jumped in because of her own fault. Now Lao Zhang being locked up, Lily also breathed a sigh of relief. When she first thought about how to deal with Mother Wei, she had already thought of today's ending. Mother Wei cannot be beaten or killed. As a daughter, she cannot take her life. Solve her once and for all. Mother Wei is dead, and the original owner she will definitely feel unwilling to do so. No matter how bad or annoying she will always be the biological mother of the original owner. Only if she is allowed to live like this, living like Wei Rui, is neither a human nor a ghost. Not only can he get rid of Lily's bad temper, but he can also spend money to hire someone to take care of her and gain the reputation of being a filial daughter. Lily would rather lay paralyzed Wei Mu than have her running around alive. Things that can be solved with money. It's always better to be as irritated as ever. Although Mother Wei asked for money after she became paralyzed, the money was just a drop in the bucket compared to the money she had lost before, if the 100,000 yuan she had donated to the temple were still there. It was enough for her to hire a caregiver for several years. Now Lily's beauty salon business is gradually getting on the right track, making more money, and raising a guardian mother is not a problem at all. After waking up, the police originally said that they would charge Lao Zhang and discuss the issue of compensation. However, Wei's mother had become like this now, but she still thought about pitying others. In the end, Lao Zhang was charged with wounding someone. He was sent to prison, and the sentence was not severe. Lily did not ask him for compensation anymore, so the matter was settled. After Wei's mother became paralyzed, Lily hired several people to wait on her as usual. She couldn't go anywhere, and no one talked to her all day long. She is now a disabled person and can no longer help others. Sometimes when the nurse does not speak, she can only sit in the room and stare outside. At this moment, Wei's mother feels that her son Wei Rui has spent more than 10 years. How did she get here? It was as if she was put in a cage by Lily and could no longer move around. After the matter was completed, without Mother Wei's interference, Lily felt that she could walk with ease. Her marriage to Zhu Mingchui had reached the standard of 2 years of separation. The court announced the couple's divorce last month. The matter with Wei's mother has come to an end, and now Lily's business is gradually picking up. Many customers who come to the club to spend money also jokingly want to introduce new relationships to this beautiful landlady, but Lily refuses. The clubhouse was bought by Lily. It has expanded even more than before, and some people are even starting to want to join the partnership. Wei Beihe's life took a turn when Beihe entered the mission and began to turn to a different life path. After she separated from her relationship with Zhu Mingchu, she did not turn to the arms of other men because of the depression of married life. All this is just because of the difference of sympathy between thoughts. The results are completely different. Downstairs of the beauty salon, Zhu Mingchu, whose assets have increased a lot now, is standing in front of the car. He has been chasing Lily very closely recently. When his wife is by his side, he always thinks that the two of them will spend a long time together, so he didn't cherish her much until she really lost it. After seeing that the person he called his ex-wife was living a good life, even better than before, and there were many people competing with him, Zhu Mingchu began to feel sour in his heart. Wei Beihe was the first. He is a man. If the woman who belongs to him is with someone else in the future, he will be very unwilling to do so. If I said that I had sent Yuan out of the country, would you consider remarrying me? When Lily went downstairs, he stopped in front of Lily and stared at her with his eyes. He had dug a hole to set up a trap and even set a trap for Wei's mother, but in the end he failed to trap this woman. She was more ruthless than him. Even before he could use Wei's mother to force Lily to return to him, Wei's mother was trapped. The mother was gone, and now that Lily's wings were hardened, she no longer had to be trapped by his side. Zhu Mingchu couldn't hold her, and was unwilling to let go, so he had to lower his body. If I say, even if you send Zhu Yuan away, I will not consider remarrying you at all. Will you come back again, Mr. Zhu? The matter of Zhu Yuanyuan and Zhu Mingchui in the Zhu family has been spread throughout the upper-class society. Most of the people who spend money here at Beihe are women from the upper class. She can find out some gossip. The Zhu family cannot afford to lose this person. Although Zhu's father and mother Zhu like Zhu Yuanyuan, the girl they picked up, she has always just picked him up. Those who come back to raise them are not their biological children. As long as it didn't harm the Zhu family's reputation, Zhu's father and mother could pamper her, but if it harmed the Zhu family's reputation, Zhu's father and mother would naturally not tolerate her. In the past, Zhu Yuanyuan always took her back to Germany to scare her adoptive parents, but now she has been sent back, and all financial support has been cut off by the Zhu family. Now her life is very difficult. Yuanyuan is already married. I will pursue you again. Give me a chance. Zhu Mingchuo reached out to pull Lily. Only after Zhu Yuanyuan went abroad did she realize that without the Zhu family's money, although she had some friends in Germany, they had left her. After entering this circle, many friends saw that she could no longer keep up with their own standards, so they gradually alienated her. What's more, there were no secrets in this circle. Her love for Zhu Mingchu could not be hidden from the international student circle. Later, in order to maintain expenses and avoid being sent back to China, Zhu Yuanyuan could not afford to lose the person who came back, and she did not dare to come back and hear other people's rumors, so she took the initiative to marry the classmate who had been chasing her before. But when others were chasing her, she had Zhu Mingchui in her heart who was unwilling to marry, so they naturally regarded her as a treasure. Now that she is down and wants to marry in order to survive, she is naturally nothing to them, and you can imagine her future life. Zhu Mingchu was not without sighs about this. After all, she was the sister he had watched since childhood. Even if she was not her biological child, she still had some feelings for her. However, Zhu Yuanyuan was too arrogant at the beginning, thinking that Zhu's father and Zhu's mother would indulge without any bottom line. He looked at her, but he didn't expect that after she came to make trouble with Lily that day, another young man from the upper class named Joe noticed that she was beaten by Lily, and he later spread the word to her. She is not my biological sister, she was just adopted by me. Now I know that I was wrong before, give me a chance before getting married. Wei Lily had not pursued Wei Lily, but Wei Lily still married his man obediently. The man who had wronged his wife endlessly for Zhu Yuanyuan after marriage, and finally made Wei Lily intolerable, now started to act romantic. There was a car full of perfumed lilies in his car. Lily vaguely remembered that Zhu Mingchui rarely sent her flowers in the original owner's impression. Maybe Zhu Yuanyuan didn't like it? Even if he did, he never sent lilies. Most often, his secretary would do it for him. The roses I ordered were really thoughtful at this moment, but unfortunately the person who should have received them is long gone. After rejecting Zhu Mingchu, he did not give up. I don't know whether it was because he was unwilling to give up, or whether it was because things that are easy to get are always less cherished. Things that are not easy to get, but the world just takes it as a challenge and tries every means to get it. Zhu Mingchu chased Lily for several years, from his prime to middle age, and finally gained a reputation as an infatuated lover. The fact that the eldest son of the Zhu family chased his ex-wife became a topic of laughter among everyone in the circle. Some people were envious, others were jealous, and some sympathized with Zhu Mingchu, but in the end, Zhu Mingchu got married again in order to have a child for the Zhu family. After Lily's business grew, the two met at a party once, and Zhu Mingchu when Kui saw Lily, he wanted to come over. A woman grabbed his hand and stared at Lily with some vigilance. However, Zhu Yuanyuan had long since disappeared in the circle of Hua Kingdom, without a trace. Occasionally, when someone mentioned her, they only thought of Zhu Yuanyuan. Who will care about the life or death of the girl who fell in love with her brother and was eventually married abroad by the Zhu family? To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 811. After completing the mission and returning to the starry sky, she had known that Li Yangzi was trapped somewhere and could not come back, but when she saw the deserted space, Lily still couldn't help but pursed her lips. Her information appeared in the starry sky. Gender, female, variable. Name, Lily. Age, 21. Intelligence, 87, out of 100. Appearance, 92, out of 100. Physical strength, 77, 100 full points. Force, 75, out of 100 points. Spirit, 82, out of 100. Reputation, 34, out of 100 points. Skills, 9 Yang Manual, 9 Yin Manual, Heaven and Earth Gate Tao Te Ching, Southern Gu Technique, Star Body Training Technique. Specialties, Advanced Cooking Skills, Advanced Acting Skills, 5 Elements, and Bagua, slightly dabbled in. Charisma, 65, out of 100. Mark, Royal True Dragon Spirit. In addition to the force value, even the other attribute values that have not increased for a long time have unexpectedly increased a little this time. Although it is the appearance that has increased and nothing else, the extra things still make Lily happy. She was refreshed, but it was a pity that Li Yangzi didn't come back at this time. She sighed silently. Until now, she couldn't do anything to help Li Yangzi. She didn't know how he could return to the starry sky last time. She only hoped that the fastest task is useful to him. The dizziness during the transmission mission came over, and Lily closed her eyes. "Mom, please calm down." When entering the mission, the original owner's body seemed to be slapped on the table hard, causing Lily's palms to ache, and the teacups and bowls next to her could not help beating. Lily felt as if the blood vessels in her head were beating suddenly, as if many people were kneeling on the ground, saying words that made her angry. The surroundings were so quiet that you could hear a needle drop, and Lily had a splitting headache at the moment. But he couldn't even open his mouth to say a word. "Here, how old are you, and you still have such a big temper? What are you talking about?" A series of footsteps came from far and near. A stern female voice with a hint of reproach sounded beside Lily. Before Lily raised her hand, tears rolled down her eyes. She opened her mouth. This body should have suffered a great deal. Stimulating, Lily's mental strength has now reached over 80, but under this pain, it is almost unbearable. It seemed that he had returned to the time when he had just entered the mission and was in extreme pain when receiving the plot. When he heard the woman's voice, he felt as if someone was stabbing him with a needle in his head, and he fainted. "My wife was so angry that she suffered from irritation, and she was so irritated after the miscarriage that she couldn't help but fainted. As long as she takes more care of herself, it won't be a serious problem. It's just that this medicine can heal the body, but not the mind." "Master, you." A deep female voice whispered in Lily's ear. A hand was combing her broken hair by her ear and cheek. Feeling that Lily was about to wake up, the owner of the hand paused. "Done, I know what I'm doing. You need to take good care of my hair first. If there's any serious harm to her, I'm going to skin Jiang Minzu alive." There was a hint of sinisterness in the woman's voice. Unspeakable resentment and murderous intent. The people around him were so quiet that they didn't dare to make the slightest sound. After a while, the deep female voice responded, saying goodbye and going out first, waiting for others to leave. The room became quiet again, and the woman's palm had been resting on Lily's ear and cheek. Then he raised it up and said, "Now that you're awake, why are you still pretending to be asleep in front of my mother? With this trick of yours, you can deceive others, but can you also deceive me?" Lily smiled bitterly in her heart. She didn't know how this woman saw through her and woke up. But since she called herself a Niang, she shouldn't be disadvantageous to the original owner. Otherwise, when she was asleep just now, she would have known what she was going to do. The opportunity was given to act, but it was a pity that he had not accepted the plot yet, so he had to be careful at every turn. Look at your little potential, a lowly maid raised by a down-to-earth family has caused such a mess in your life. It's really ruining my Tao family reputation. The woman's fingertips suddenly touched Lily's forehead. Her fingertips were cold, which made her even more tactile. Delicate, this woman is about 30 years old, with indescribable sternness in her eyebrows. She wears a gold set on her head, and a large drop-shaped gold ornament on her forehead is inlaid with a large piece of Hessian jade. It hangs in the middle of her forehead, shining out. Her face was full of brilliance and arrogance, looking graceful and luxurious. At this moment, her eyes were staring at Lily, with a bit of unconcealable worry in her eyes. When she saw this woman, an unspeakable sadness surged out of Lily's heart. Just as she was about to open her mouth, a voice suddenly sounded in her mind. The system has been bound. Lu Ronghe is encouraged to teach Zhang Menzu a lesson. If the task is completed, Yang Luyao will be rewarded. There will be no punishment for failure. This voice sounded inexplicably like it was coming from Lily's mind, which made her tense up all of a sudden. This was a large inner hall, and there were several palace missions among the missions that Lily had entered. Naturally, it can be seen that this is like the decoration of the inner room of the palace. There are many palace people standing around, but in front of this woman, none of them dare to express their anger. The inexplicable voice just came from nowhere, which makes Lily feeling a little creepy. She has done a lot of tasks, but this is the first time this strange situation happened. Her pupils were constricted. The woman immediately noticed something strange about her and reached out to touch her forehead. I'm not happy to say a few words to you. I have my temper, but I can't imitate your mother-in-law's cleverness. Useless things, Zhang Menzu has made you like this. I can't save the child. Don't tell me, the majestic Queen Zhao, even passed out in public. If the news spreads, wouldn't it mean that people would laugh at me, Mr. Tao? The woman's beautiful face showed a bit of anger, and she stood up with a cold snort. That bitch from Changping, if you insist on being against me, I will skin Zhang Menzu and give her the skin to make shoes for her. As soon as she finished speaking, the strange male voice in Lily's mind rang again, ding. Encourage Lu Ronghe to finish. After the mechanical voice finished speaking, Lily keenly felt that the clothes she was wearing seemed to have fallen inside. Others did not notice this slight change. Maybe if it were someone else, they might not be able to notice it. However, her character has always been keen and cautious. When she discovered this mysterious and weird voice, she had already tensed up her body. Even if the change was very subtle, she still felt it. Thinking of what the mysterious voice just said, she felt a surge of emotion in her heart. It cooled down a bit, and my energy suddenly became somewhat highly concentrated. After the woman finished speaking, before Lily could speak, she snorted coldly and strode out. The golden steps on her head made a soft sound when she walked. When the jade pendants hanging on her waist collided with each other, a clear and sweet sound rang out. The long hem of her clothes trailed behind her, and a group of maids followed her step by step. Until she disappeared out of sight around the corner, the scent of fragrance still seemed to surround her nose. She was a strong and fierce woman. It's just that Lily has no intention to care about this woman at this moment. She wants to urgently understand her current situation, especially where the inexplicable sound comes from. She still hasn't figured it out yet. She feels a little chilly and doesn't know. Where was the thing that was talking to me hiding? I had to concentrate very hard. I didn't know who the voice was, and I didn't know what the purpose of this so-called mission was. At this moment, the voice could directly contact me through my mind. Lily didn't even know if it could peek into her thoughts. For a moment, she didn't even dare to accept the plot, and her heartbeat was so fast. This is not the first time I have done a mission, but it is the first time I have encountered something as difficult as this. It is a pity that Li Yangzi is not in the starry sky at this time. Otherwise, if I encounter such a trouble, I can ask him for a clear explanation. Okay, Lily bit her lip and forced herself to get rid of the panic and calm down. Now she was not sure what was talking in her mind, so she was not ready to accept the plot for the time being. She was afraid that the inexplicable thing would be hiding behind her and find out own identity. Without the plot and the memory of the original owner, Lily could only explore from the few clues she had so far. She licked her lips that were dry due to nervousness, and recalled what the people she met after entering the mission said. I probably figured it out in my mind. The woman who just claimed to teach Jiang Minzu a lesson claimed to be her mother-in-law, and said that the original owner's actions had ruined the Tao family's prestige. It is conceivable that the original owner should be named Tao. According to the setting Li Yangzi gave to herself, this body should be called Tao Beihe. There is no doubt about it. The woman once said that as a dignified queen of Zhao, she actually fainted in public. From this, it can be inferred that the place she was in was Dezhao, and Tao Beihe was the queen of Dezhao, and the reason for her fainting was that she had just woken up. When we came here, someone whispered that it was because the original owner was so out of breath after having the baby that she was pregnant. Tao Beihe probably gave birth to her baby just now. As for the outburst, the woman previously claimed that she was harmed by a person named Jiang Minzu. Just to be jealous. Lily has sorted out the general plot. It should be that the original owner came from a prominent family and had an extremely powerful mother. She should be named Lu Ronghe. After marrying the emperor of Zhao dynasty, she competed with Jiang Minzu for favor, but lost to Xiao Chan and was so angry that she was half dead. She also needs her maternal family to stand up for her. Although some details are still unclear, as long as the general things can be cleared out, it will be like building a house. The foundation steel bars are laid, and the remaining bricks and tiles can be laid slowly. What made her feel a little embarrassed was that she didn't know the original owner's wishes and purpose because she didn't receive the plot and the memory of the original owner. Lily didn't dare to relax for a day. She could only think about the mission slowly. Your Majesty, do you want to have a meal? The imperial doctor has prescribed a warm tonic prescription for your Majesty, and it has been prepared in the imperial kitchen. The young palace lady knelt in front of the couch, trembling with fear and not even daring to raise her head. His voice was trembling when he talked to Lily. The original owner must have a very arrogant temperament and was not someone who was easy to serve. To be continued. Carrot.